Hi there, Leo. Love and light to you all here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to your very personal March 2020. It's a new sort of reading we're doing here. It's a daily prediction. So I'm going to be pulling a card for each of the days as it moves through the month of March, the entirety of the month of March. And March 2020 for you, dear Leo. Let's jump into it and see what comes through. You did come through strongly in the Libra reading. And pardon my little stuffy nose here. Leo. Okay, but there is, let's see, a lot at play, perhaps during the month here for you, and it's something, though, that you feel comfortable with. I'm hearing it in this way as well. Let's pull the cards and see what comes through on the daily during the month for you, and then what we'll do, actually, is also jump into a pick a card reading. We'll pull 3 stacks, and there could be further clues there as to what may come through as a focus during the month. Now, Leo, let's see here. We're going to shuffle the cards, give it a good little shuffle, and see. Pull here. I'm hearing you're presenting now. Oh, here we go. Temperance. Talking about presentation. Now, it's interesting because split the cards. I saw the Hierophant on the interior of one of the stacks, and here comes the Hierophant again. I shuffled, and it's at the base of the main stack here. So there's a really big focus. I'm hearing that's my twin. I'm not sure what this is alluding to. You do have the Hierophant mirroring the Chariot. Someone's having dreams here. Okay, but before we get into that, Temperance coming through upright. Now, Leo, wow. Oh, goodness. Okay, wow. You've got 3 major arcana coming through as your first few cards in the month of March. So around the 1st of March, you've got Temperance, you've got the Hangman, Father Cups, and the Magician. Someone's actually perhaps revealing something. I'm hearing they're reinstating their vows as well. For a number of you, there's something that someone is revealing. I'm hearing that again with the Hangman and the Temperance card. It could be something that someone's representing, and they're really excited to do so. I'm seeing someone actually like coming up to you, Leo, and they're like, this is maybe for a number of you, they're like, hey, I really want you to tell this story. Can you please? I'm hearing, can you please? So it's something that maybe even like you're being commissioned to, or you're commissioning someone, wow, to communicate even on your behalf. Judgment coming through upright. Excuse me, Leo. 10 of Wands upright. For a number of you, it's something that you're actually getting ready to talk about. You are talking about. I'm hearing it has to do with Germany. I'm hearing Frankfurt. This came through a Libra reading. 7 of Wands coming through in reverse around the 3rd of March. 4th of March, we've got the 7 of Wands upright. 5th of March, we've got the 4 of Wands in reverse. 6th of March, we've got the 8 of Wands upright. And the 7 of March, we've got the 7 of Swords leading you out. Now, for a number of you, it's something that you've been practicing. Someone's been practicing something, and it's something that they've been even playing with. Perhaps they've been meditating on this idea for quite some time, and it's like, well, they knew eventually, like, they would, I'm hearing also gather the guts. I'm hearing it this way, to make also the great escape. I'm hearing here with the Son of Wands upright near the Judgment. So for a number of you, someone's like releasing even information. Maybe they're even representing something here. We have here the 4 of Wands in reverse again. 8 of Wands upright. Now, Leo, I'm hearing Libra. For a number of you, this is something that you've been meditating on. I'm hearing training the eyes. Now, it may have to do also with self-talk. I'm hearing it right out the gate in that way for you. You got the Son of Wands looking in the future, and the 7 of Swords, again, leads you out. So somebody is maybe even feeling like, look, I can't get, like, bummed out, perhaps even about certain circumstances here or certain stories or shelves that didn't accommodate the right ones. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but maybe for a number of you feel like even something related to history that I'm hearing it also just didn't make it on time. I don't know. For a number of you, maybe you feel like something wasn't even like really revealed appropriately in the past, and for a number of you feel like, well, I can't be too caught up in that. I can't get too caught up in that. I need to focus on what it is that I create in this space. And, you know, if I feel like it wasn't done right in the past, I can't kind of like come from that space of like feeling that, you know, I was also like done dirty, or like someone was done dirty in that space. So someone feels like, I don't want to just also blame someone in this space for why, let's say, it didn't roll out in the right way. And maybe you, but for a number of you, I'm seeing that this is something that maybe was like created and then you felt like it needed to be altered, and it could actually be a contract for a number of you. Now, whatever it is, it's a circumstance even that you feel must change in order to accommodate the potential of whatever the space is. It could even be an industry. Now, Leo, for a number of you also don't want it to be where there is a sense of like remorse. I'm hearing negativity. You're like, I don't want to have to like respond in a way that's like hostile. I just want to kind of like print the magazine and like make sure that it makes it in everyone's hand. Okay, so maybe someone just wants to kind of distribute, they want to just kind of disseminate information without necessarily getting into like some kind of heated debate or argument. Now we have here leading out to the second week, the Devil coming through, horizontally laid at the base of the Magician, got a whole load of Major Arcana, Seven of Cups coming through. Preceding the Devil, there's something real tempting here. Nine of Pentacles, it's a direction that you feel guided to move in. However, Leo, I'm seeing that there is something where you're like, well, I don't know if I should really like live also off of this fund like this. I'm hearing that with the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. Like someone feels like this is weird. I don't want to make money off of like my moral here, my moral story. Like someone feels like maybe someone is even like approaching them with an opportunity. They're like, hey, you can make like a ton of money by also like honing in on this one craft that you have as well. And maybe someone's like, I just feel kind of awkward about that. I don't feel like I would be honest if I were to like offer that also like as a prize, like, or for prize money. Okay, so leading out from the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords. Now, Devil, Seven of Cups, the pressure's on here. I'm hearing in this way, like, there's a lot, perhaps, of people as well who are, like, involved in this space as they may feel it, like, from the periphery. They're like, I'm hearing end zone goal. They're like, well, you know, I'm hearing we're their parents and we also have places, I'm hearing, and people that we need to accommodate. I don't know what that's about, but for them, you're hearing that they need to feed as well. Like, maybe someone's like, well, you know, yes, I'm hearing happy feet. I'm hearing dada, again, lucky. Like, yeah, it can be considered like, you know, money, but people need money. I'm hearing to pass on the legacy as well. Like someone's making an excuse. I'm hearing specifically for why something is actually, as someone may feel it. Someone may feel it like this is an excuse, take as you will. Always a matter of perspective, just channeling what's coming through, but somebody is feeling, as I'm getting it, like they're like, well, they're making a reason for why something should also be compensated. Someone else does not feel comfortable with accommodating whatever that space is, okay? They're like, there's no reason why everyone should be chewing on like bubblegum and having 5 bags of hot Cheetos, I'm hearing, just because I'm hearing their hot stuff now. Like, there's something excessive that somebody wants to avoid. Also, like, this makes no sense. They're like, we're talking about how money is also not the point, but then we're like making people feel like the incentive is that, and that's not right. I'm hearing someone feels like there's something like even ironic and they just don't feel comfortable with that, all right? They feel like something just goes against the, like, moral of the story even, okay? They're like, yeah, we're gonna, like, offer all these little munchkins, you know, mentorship opportunities, but then it's, like, because it will give them the chance to be, like, ultra frickin' famous, and is it really gonna make them look at fame in a different way, I'm hearing as well. So it's like someone's really questioning the moral is as they feel at the point, and they want to really like emphasize that. They don't want to like come out and be like, you're gonna be famous, kids, and you need to also like call your parents and tell them that you love them. Okay, so make sure that you don't fall off your track, you know what I mean? Anyways, here's your record deal. You know, it's like someone maybe wants to be very careful with the way that they also promote. I'm hearing also certain content. They don't want to make someone feel like you're a whistler, you know, and you've got the fam, and you know, you're fast. I'm hearing at writing it. I don't know what that's alluding to. Like, maybe this is an impression also they don't want to like give someone this impression that they're like right out the gate, like, you know, super also like happy to have them on the team. I'm hearing that with the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles, with the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Swords. Like, they want them to know that hard work really goes into this space, and it's also something that they've worked very hard for, and it wasn't just like, I worked hard and I made money. It was like, I had the intention of people in mind, not just like promotions, but people. And when I built my connections, it was because I built my community first. That was my point. It wasn't to carve out an image on a placard and stick that on the wall and call it my trophy of life. It's not a moment, right, that I make my life through. I'm hearing, well, that's my philosophy. I'm hearing that for everybody with the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles. Somebody, maybe they feel like it's really important for them to capitalize on this gain that they receive from, let's say, their so-called success. Like, I'm seeing someone stands up amidst a crowd. They're like, listen, I'm not like, I don't feel successful. I really hope you guys get this. Like, I do not feel successful because I made the rounds and I hit the right routines. I'm hearing also relays, and then I landed that one gig and I got lucky, and then now I'm like in the fast lane with the sharpshooters, and we're all like sharing each other's bottles of wine. Like, no. I'm hearing, I actually wrote, I'm hearing the novel of my life as a secret first. And it was something that I promised myself that I would share with the world. It's because it was something that I'm hearing I looked at not as a player, but as a team player. Okay, so when I'm playing, I'm hearing the game, I'm not just here to win. I'm hearing as the golden star. I'm hearing on the hoops. I'm hearing that as well with the devil and the Seven of Cups, with the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. This is not something that is like also like a surprise hit. I'm hearing, and I found that when you are searching also for, passion, I'm hearing even in the game and the feeling of wanting to win it. Okay, that's wonderful. But what I found really in that moment is the passion for the love that we feel. I'm hearing for others. I'm hearing who help us win it and win it with us. So for a number of you, somebody feels like community and the ethics of this space is an absolute in the role of mentoring others in the space of so-called success. In other words, it's like someone wants to make very clear that the foundation of the future is not financially based as well. It's like, everyone, hello. I'm hearing you all look like real fine, okay? I'm hearing your feathers. I'm hearing that you're fanning yourselves with. I'm hearing you're thirsty and that you're able to accommodate. I'm hearing the quench. I don't know what that's about, take it as you will. It's like I'm seeing families here who are like also like they work with companies, maybe they like promote certain companies, I don't know. Anyways, it's like, but at the end of the day, I'm hearing at the desk job. I'm hearing sitting under the desk, right? I'm hearing there's hard work that goes into every act of labor. And why do we do that, right? Why do we work? I'm hearing to achieve, right? Why do we love also what we do in the way that we do it, right? So for a number of you, I'm seeing like there is this sort of scale of growth that you're like wanting to really define. Okay, you're like, growth is not like I had $10 today and tomorrow I have 20. I'm hearing I'm big now. I'm hearing that's like no judgment at all. I'm not saying that that's big or small or whatever, but this is maybe the concept that somebody wants to communicate to an audience, or like to say in the way that it's not about like the increase, let's say, of also the imagination, okay, of I'm hearing our male identity. I'm hearing ego drive. I'm hearing that with the devil. Like, I don't know what that's like, no judgment. Everyone has a male and the female, the yin and the yang propensities within them. But, to say in the way that maybe someone feels like, it's not just about like aggression, let's say, which doesn't necessarily mean that male is associated with aggression. However, right, it does speak of the ability, okay, to access certain heights of connecting with our dominant sort of persona. I'm hearing as well where it's like we're able to assert. Now, assertion is very different than dominating, let's say, in a way that is completely I'm hearing also like for the reason you're saying passive aggressive, like not being aggressive, okay, doesn't mean like passive aggressive. So for a number of you, maybe somebody is like, I want to train, okay, the camp leaders as well, not to think that they're like the trainers, okay, of the Hallmark movie. I'm hearing the go big or the go home, okay. It's not like that. I'm hearing somebody wants to make this real clear. But for a number of you, it comes down to fame. And someone is maybe even preaching to themselves, okay, even to their parents, I'm hearing as well, or other parents, like, that this is not the point. The point is not to create, I'm hearing also, a band of cheerleaders around the camp of your conversation with your higher self. Like, I don't know what that's alluding to, but maybe someone's like, I feel like I need to take a big dick, I'm hearing, and slap everyone in the face with it. I don't know what that's about. Like, for a number of you, somebody feels like something's ridiculous. They're like, everyone has their ego wrapped around their neck like a scarf. And I feel like the future of these people, I'm hearing, is completely fucked. Unless I stand here and focus on the problem right here, right now. And for a number of you, actually, maybe somebody is an investor. I'm even seeing somebody who works with promoting children. They are child actresses. I'm hearing that specifically, and they're like, yeah, they will never be, okay, commissioned to chase their dreams. They may be commissioned for a certain role, they may be cast in a certain role, but they would never be paid to live truly their dream. Unless the dream becomes, I'm hearing, the role that they hold themselves to play. So for a number of you, someone is emphasizing on also the element of compassion and passion that may be at play when it comes to promoting themselves as well. It's like, well, who am I in the space of promoting maybe even this product or this gig or this role, whatever it may be. And so maybe someone feels like it's a little controversial because certain companies have certain priorities. Cough, cough. I'm hearing twiddly-do, twiddly-dum with your little thumbs. Okay, I don't know what that's about, Leo, but take it as you will. Maybe someone feels like everyone's sitting at their desk, but they call it just a desk job, and, you know, that's not the way also that we remember. I'm hearing our raising. I'm hearing our raising and our upbringing. Okay, interesting. So maybe someone is like, they feel like there is something at stake, and they're like, yeah, everything of value in this world also is completely, I'm hearing, looked at as I'm hearing a live and tell sort of situation. Like, no judgment, but maybe someone feels maybe this is in a certain industry or a certain, like, even program, like, it's just gone, like, way too competitive, and everyone's ready to, like, kind of, like, cut someone else's chin off to make them look better. I don't know, themselves look better. I don't know, God forbid, hopefully not, but it's like, yeah, that's not the opportunity we want to also be giving others. Now, let's clear that energy leading out of the second week. Let's see, it's 8th, the 9th, 10th, 11th. We have the Justice card and the Death card on the 12th, and then around the 13th, we've got the Mother of Wands, oh my, and the 14th, we've got the Son of Swords. So, let's pull actually all the cards. We've then got, around the 15th, is the Eight of Swords. 19th is the Wheel of Fortune. I'm hearing watch and wait. Okay, so maybe you even, like, sent something out here. It's even, like, a letter, and then you're like, yeah, they're not going to want to hear that, but it just has to be more than Winchell's grape juice at this point. I'm hearing to get them to call back. I'm hearing motivated as well. Now, maybe even somebody's like, look, I'm not just going to be passing out, like, rec letters. I'm hearing that as well. Okay, so somebody maybe feels they have to be responsible with also, like, their executive potential here a little bit. Their power, executive power. Eight of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, and the Father of Swords in the third week of March. You're leading into, then, Eight of Pentacles. Wow, I got 2 8s in the center of... It's interesting. You go from 2 9s to 2 8s in the third week. You got the Eight of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune... Excuse me, Leo. Father of Swords with the Eight of Pentacles. Someone even had to, like, pull the plug here. They may have to do the resources. Maybe it's something that's even being reconsidered. They're like, well, the classroom and the clause don't really, like, align with the caption that we feel like is the connection point between the children and also the mentors. I'm hearing the opportunities. So somebody maybe even wants to rescaffold or recreate even the sort of cover letter or the sort of principles and the ideologies for whatever this also I'm hearing this community is. Now, of resources I'm hearing as well. Eight of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Father of Swords. Now, you lead into, let's say, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th with the Daughter of Pentacles. Someone even brings in a mentor to, like, sort of, like, promote these ideologies. Or, like, yeah, cool. Yeah, kids. I'm hearing cool is not spelled with a K. I don't know what that's alluding to. Take it as you will. Like, no judgment. Okay, but maybe someone, like, they bring someone in and they're like, the classroom is made also for covering up all of the crayons. I'm hearing and letting them loose. I'm hearing to roll around the floor. I'm here. I don't know what that's alluding to. Take as you will. I don't know what that's about, Leo, but let's finish this week here. Okay, got the Eight of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune, the Father of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, and Daughter of Pentacles. I'm hearing, like, wait a second, who's that? 3, 4, 5. Okay, no judgment now, but okay, we're gonna get to that. Well, I'm hearing, should we really respond? I'm hearing to that message. Okay, anyways. The third week, Leo. Again, Eight of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, Father of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. Like, this person's like really young as well, though. They come through and they're like, maybe everyone's like sharing what they define as responsibility. Some of the reactions, I'm hearing the responses, like someone feels like they need to test a little bit. The tire, I'm hearing that was attached to that one train. I'm hearing as well. Okay, tires on the train. Okay. So, okay, like maybe someone was like, okay, I'm seeing a promotion company. They're gonna like choose people, or they have people that they promote currently, and they're like, why do you want to be a princess? I'm hearing that as well. Like, what's your dream goal? And like, why? And like, maybe someone comes through and they're like, because I want to be perfect. Or like, maybe someone comes through and they're like, because I want to be the president. And it's like, well, why? And it's like, well, because I want to please people. I'm hearing that as well. Eight of Pentacles and the Daughter of Pentacles. And it's like, well, why? And it's like, well, because, you know, I can do that. I'm hearing as well with the Eight of Pentacles. One second. So it's like, okay. And then it's like, I'm seeing like, there's this degradation to the space of like the discussion around whatever this like concept of even like morality is. And then like, see, for no reason, this is like with children, or maybe someone's like inner child as well. And it's like, well, yeah, we really saw like the real story behind the lives here of also these rich teenagers. I don't know what those allude to. And it's like, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to represent that space? And they're like, well, you know, eventually I'm hearing what it comes down to for a number of you is, or for a number of these individuals, is that there's a routine. Okay, that even like, it's literally like a wavelength. I'm hearing it plays like I'm hearing like magic in their minds. Like they all come down to this point of like, well, I just want to be famous. And it's like, well, why? And it's like, well, because like I want to, you know, I just want to I'm hearing I want to teach others, hold on, how to sink or swim. And it's like, okay, well, why? And it's like, well, because I need to do that. Okay, this is for a number of you. Maybe someone even like, there's a focus on parenting. Like, what it comes down to is like every child like maybe enters in that space. They're like, well, I want to be like the president, or they're like, I want to be like, you know, really like, I want to be, I'm hearing a performer, and I want to be perfect. And it's like, what it really comes down to, like, I'm seeing a number of people, like, they really kind of, like, they psychoanalyze the students as well a little bit, and they're like, well, so why? And it really, what it comes down to is like, well, because I'm hearing, specifically, my parents want me to. I'm hearing that as well. So for a number of you, it's like, and whoever is the promotion, I'm hearing agent here, that's like the last thing they want to hear. Okay, when it really comes down to it, they're like, I don't want to hear that this opportunity is like the glass slipper, and that you have to be Cinderella and that you have to want it, like, and that you have to feel like it belongs to you. No. Okay, I'm hearing if the dance routine doesn't work for you, naturally, if you feel like you just don't want to like look, I'm hearing also this way at the camera like that, we don't want, right? You say even call us back. Like, I'll say, we gave you the opportunity. Like, we want you to be ready to pass it up because you want to pursue your ultimate passion. And it's real, it gets real scary in the room there. Leo, at a certain point when you realize that the parents are actually not parents, but they're piranhas. And they will promote, I'm hearing, their little angels at whatever degree it takes to make them look at the camera a little differently like that. I don't know what. They're like, are you kidding me? I'm hearing Peter's perfect at this whole party thing. Okay, watch him throw it. Watch him, you know, please you, okay, and your parents. He's gonna totally re-represent, okay, the whole population of your whole, I'm hearing good looks, I don't know, fam. Okay, let's clear that, seriously. Somebody's like, yikes, they do not want, okay, to take. I'm hearing also the devil. I'm hearing shopping to wear Prada, if you know what I mean. They're like, no, we don't want to groom these kids to feel like they're good because they're good looking as well with the devil. And then I know Leo's like, I'm a freaking Leo. What do you mean? I don't need to look good. No, you need to look good. I mean, calm down, Leo. Yeah, okay. And you look good. Don't worry, you already look good. I'm right. You're Leo. Remember that? I'm right. You got a lot of Leo in your chart. Whatever. All right. No. Everyone's got Leo somewhere. All right. And good looks, right, are always subjective. Take it as you will. But maybe someone's like, I'm a proud parent. Is there a problem with that? I'm hearing that. I think my kid looks great. I think they're just great. I think they're good. I think they're great. The point is not whether or not they're great, right? They're great, but what makes them feel great? That's a whole nother story, right? Maybe also something feels great for someone in their environment. I'm hearing to also observe them, right, as doing or carry out in a certain way. But does the sort of, I'm hearing promotion content, okay, really process passion for them in a way that makes them feel also like they're an individual. So I'm not sure what those only two, Leo, okay, for a number of you. And again, the good looks, what are good looks, right? It's always subjective. And what are looks, right? And what do they serve? So the purpose of. So for a number of you, it's like, well, I'm presenting something. So now, and do looks last, I'm hearing, and do they actually look like anything at all, right? Or is it perception? So for a number of you, it's like, well, the wings of an angel. I'm hearing they're wanted. I don't know what that's alluding to. It's like, just because somebody will promote, someone's kid for a certain work proposal, right? Should you take it? No judgment. I'm not saying anything. This is not me personally, Leo. If you have children that you're like, whatever. But take it as you will. Or if that was you as a child, I'm hearing that as well. Take it as you will. But it's like, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no. I'm hearing. I don't want to groom my kids to just grow on the grapevine, if you know what I mean, and like also make friends with. I'm hearing Tanner. I'm hearing Buzzer. I'm hearing at the Tallahassee. I'm hearing Film Fest. Like maybe someone is like they're trying to get their kid to like promote, and it's maybe even through an agent, and like someone feels like they need to test someone's theory a little bit. They're like, well, are you telling them they need to do that, or because that can only, eventually lead to tension of another kind, and we don't want it to have to lead to that. You know what I mean? We hear all these like unfortunate stories of kids who take themselves to the limits. We don't want it to reach that point, right? I'm hearing at the end of the day, I'm hearing why is it that you want the world, right, so-called, for your child. So let's make sure they don't create that world and then flush it down the toilet. That's not considered, right, a world at the end of the day if they don't want to be in it, sadly, right? So let's plant the seed with the intention of the future that, the sort of like the gardener wants, right, to take care of down the line. So in other words, it's like if someone creates a world of fame around them, but they don't feel like they're really in that world, eventually they will rake and claw their way. I'm hearing to take it down. And I don't know who this is alluding to, but hey, take it as you will. Maybe someone realizes like, shit, the dance routine wasn't really what they really wanted to do, and they started to resist. I'm hearing control. I'm hearing power at any moment. I'm hearing that it was presented and it became a horror story, and I couldn't even get them to like, I'm hearing talk to Randall anymore. Like, I don't know. Somebody was like they were like, I'm hearing they had a Buzz Lightyear moment, and they totally like they befriended all of the Olivers in the class. I don't know what that's alluding to. They're like they made friends with like someone else's like bandmate or something. I don't know. They were like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this band. Or I'm hearing that as well. I don't want to be in like this also broken home. I don't know what that's, no judgment at all, Leo. Not to say that something is necessarily broken if somebody also calls it that or perceives it in that way, this could also be from another vantage point or perspective, from the lens or angle of another. So maybe this actually has to do with not someone's literal family, what is considered literal family, but it could be even related to their financial life. Like, they feel like something is just, they don't feel like it feels like home even. They're like, I created this, I'm hearing the monster inside me. They're like, I created this whole character, and I don't even want to, like, really imagine it. Like, it's just something that maybe someone feels like it's a dream for my parents, but it's a nightmare for me, and I don't want to have to, like, sneak out at night because I don't want to, you know, navigate. I'm hearing the narration of the sequel. One second. Okay, somebody has plans. They're in a contract, no question. They have this, like, even this promotion. They have this whole project, okay, like, slapped on their desk. It's something that maybe even they were planning. It could be a program, something that they were planning even to invest in the space of, and it is an institute. I'm hearing this as well for a number of you, and it's like, for a number, you're like, my inner child is like raging. I'm hearing raging. Like, every time I have homework, I go straight to the concert. I'm hearing, and I don't even want to see that band, but I end up like buying sold out tickets and like attending like the event. I'm hearing from every possible angle and avenue. So I don't know, someone maybe even like they're kind of avoiding, like, maybe they feel like something is actually taking a turn, but it's not in a way. It's not like the promotion is making me more excited. It's like the promotion is making me feel like I don't even want to promote it. I'm hearing that as well. Like, the more that I get paid, also the more money I'm offered up front, the more I feel like I'm losing my wings, I'm getting bite out. I feel like my story is absolving, and someone feels like their identity, their personal, their conversation, I'm hearing also with their creative self, I'm hearing it's disappearing. I'm hearing the closer they get to also this so-called space of financial freedom. So yeah, so somebody feels like, look, I just realized that I'm not the focus here. I'm hearing of this company. I'm hearing also this clause for it, and it's a project, perhaps even. But for a number of you, Leo, I'm seeing that somebody maybe, it's something that kind of, it's a realization that sets in, like, over time. Like, maybe in the beginning they were like, oh, this is so cool. Like, you know, I'm famous, kind of, Ten of Swords here. Like, maybe they're in commercials, or like, I'm hearing they didn't call that person back. I'm hearing their mentor did. Okay, so somebody actually realized that. I'm hearing nothing like the good stuff, baby. Or is it the real stuff? Ain't nothing but the real thing. And like, over time, they slowly, their performance even took this turn, and like, it was just clear, like, they didn't have that same twinkle in their eye. Like, they started talking about, you know, I'm hearing the pistols. I don't know whether the Emperor and the Two of Cups. Like, they started to kind of have this, like, they sort of started to have this, like, world domination attitude. Like, it was, like, kind of, like, a space of, like, also resistance. Like, maybe they're, like, they had this, like, rough and tough, like, sort of image or attitude, like, that they built up for their audience. And, like, in some way, like, I'm hearing tattoos as well. I'm hearing Zane. I don't know what this is with a Father of Swords or the Emperor. And it's, like, they had all these, like, this huge fandom. I'm hearing all these fans. Father of Swords, not saying that that's not necessarily a Zane, take it as you will, just coming through. Son of Cups could be a specific message here coming through for a number of you. Emperor, Father of Swords, and the Son of Cups. It's like, it was really exciting in some ways, and then it really, like, it beat me up. Like, as a formal child. I don't know what that's alluding to, but maybe someone felt like it just wasn't leaving any room for me to like breathe and really grow. I felt like I didn't have any freedom. I felt like I also was like way too worked, way too stressed all the time, even as a kid. And this really took, I'm hearing, the start out of my own parade. Like someone felt like, oh, it's like, it's assumed. Okay, like that this is your star and this is your show and this is your stage and then boom, that's it, you got it, and that's it, you're on the stage and boom. It's like, you know, there was no like also feeling like something was really also worked into the space of, and there's always, right, like the good and the take, the party and the after party. There's always like, you know, you could look at a situation and say, well, you know, it's wonderful to be famous, it's wonderful to have a lot of like money, I'm hearing a lot of fans, I'm hearing a lot of freedom in a certain way, but then, you know, you also feel at the same time the friction of those fantasies that so-called come to life. And I realize I'm hearing in this way with the Four of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords with the Son of Cups that I actually value my freedom in ways that other people may not, okay? And I want that life. I'm hearing that with the Father Swords. Like, I'm seeing somebody who's like famous, they want to just like become totally like, they want to undo the zipper, they want to undo all of the like, I'm hearing the fake lashes thing. I'm hearing all of the like the formal agreements, the contracts. They want to just like take scissors and like snip away at everyone's also bangs that bounce. Okay, because also like their band told them to. Like somebody is like so over, so done with. Okay. Also the whole like, I'm hearing dugout game. I'm hearing Doug here with eight of, I don't know what I was going to do. Like somebody feels like they're also commissioned in a project. It's just sucking them. It's sucking them. They're like, I can't take it. Everybody wants something from me. Everyone from a certain party, certain angle. It could be even political. Okay, it's like every company. They're up in my grill. They're up in my hood. They want to paint my car. They want to paint my nose. They want me to do a paint job on my car and on my, I don't know what. It's like I'm done. Okay, I'm hearing like stop. I'm hearing dancing also around me, flashing money at me. I'm hearing a walking Tonka truck here that carries also your kids home. I don't know what that's linked to with the Eight of Pentacles, but someone's getting real fed up, okay, with the whole conversation around also the possible, okay, potential of some kind of also community here. I'm hearing with Eight of Pentacles, like someone maybe feels like everyone's tugging at them, like everyone also wants someone to come and like kind of like communicate with their kids about something. So for a number of you, someone's like, well, it's not that I don't want to do that, it's just I want it to be something that's deep and meaningful. I don't want to just like also spread myself too thin and feel like I'm just reacting also to everyone at every moment, every time. So for a number of you, this is something that maybe also you feel like, well, I've just taken a lot on. For a number of you, this is something that you feel you want to replace with something else. Like you're like, well, I started this space and I created it and I realized that it's just not really also like taking me or others where I expected it to. So, you know, it's one thing to create a business and have it thrive. It's another thing, it can be technically successful, but it's another thing for me to feel like I am thriving in that space as the creator of that space. So does it reach also the heights of your personal prerogative? I'm hearing and potential with the Temperance card and the Magician. What this really comes down to is your moral principles, your vision, your creative talent on a personal level for you. So if you have a talent agency and you feel like we're talking about stuff that licks envelopes but doesn't seal any any stories that are personal, I'm not sure what those allude to, then it's like maybe I want to reconsider how it is that I also offer my gifts and my talents to others. So whenever you have maybe even some sort of talent, what is considered a talent agency, you have some gift, and you feel like you just need to be responsible with it, perhaps, Leo, not saying that you're not, but maybe this is something that you're just like, well, I want to make sure that what I'm also talking about with these kids and with these people, with these parents, even at these times, maybe you feel like there's another dimension to the discussion, okay? And you're like, well, I just want to make sure that I'm really digging deeply here, okay? It's not like, I don't want them to also take the space for granted. I don't want them to think that this is just a table with manners and we sit there and we make money together and then we sort of like make peace with it and then we move on. Like there's something that someone feels like, the strings attached to whatever this contract is are actually sentimental, or they should be, and it's not something that someone wants to necessarily like remodel, okay, the idea or the space with, the identity space with, for whatever this even program is, to say like this is the right answer, but it's something that maybe they want to like revise. I'm hearing the representation of the space with. So for a number of you guys, maybe even like I'm hearing your marketing, even like your legal management. You're like, it's just something that needs to like, we're not a promotion agency. I'm hearing for toddlers who also can't talk like for themselves, like, sorry, but I'm hearing even if your teeth are perfect, I'm hearing if they're too white as well, I'm hearing that specifically, we will not. I'm hearing work, I'm hearing with you or your parents on it. So maybe someone is like, look, kids need to talk. I'm hearing even if they can talk, they will not always tell you what they really feel. And so it's kind of tricky. It's like, what's that gray zone area of the entertainment industry? I'm hearing that specific. I don't know what's this just coming through, Leo. But somebody feels like there's even tension building in the room because there's so much at stake, even with the players. I'm hearing that with the Daughter of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, Two of Cups, and the Emperor. It's like, what it really comes down to is the training, right? It's like we don't turn down potential necessarily. Should we turn down potential? Not necessarily, but it's really the training that goes into that space. So for a number of you, it's like maybe someone's like, well, I want to create a practice for who I also allow into the space to partake in it with me and my resources, my team. So for a number of you, you just maybe want to kind of get more careful with also the borders. I'm hearing over trade. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Like maybe you're like, well, I want to work with companies, or influencers, but I don't want it to be like just, all of this like jibber jabber about the jammies and how comfortable they are. Okay, it's like it's not just, I'm hearing, a material item. It's actually a moral story, or it should be, as someone feels it, and they're like, well, I want to kind of talk more about that, perhaps that side of the story as well. For a number of you, Leo, somebody feels like they are in a position of leadership. It's up to them. No one's going to look at them and say, you're leading this space wrong. Okay, maybe for a number of you, this is like actually a space of entrepreneurship, and you realize that, no judgment at all. For a number of you, it's a matter of health concerns or an aspect of leadership when it comes to looking at labels and talking about what goes into the little tin can and so on and so forth. So for a number of you, it's like, yeah, it's flirty, it's fun, it's cute, but it's actually more about the ingredients, I'm hearing as well, that go into perhaps even the making of the product. So for me, I'm hearing again, like someone's like, I don't want them to take this for granted. I don't want them to think that this is just also something that we generate. I'm hearing also income with, or this is something that we've generated income as. I'm hearing as well as like a way of making money. So what I'm seeing for a number of you is like, the last thing you want it to be is like a get rich quick scheme. I'm hearing like stupid little angel lights. I don't know what that's, no judgment at all, Leo. I don't know what that's alluding to. It's just coming through, channeling what's coming through. Maybe someone has like kind of like regarded someone as like, they got real pissed at something. They were like, this person just like expected that I would like pass them a baton and like call them a wizard and say you could do whatever you wanted with this little world that I'm offering you. Okay, so somebody was like, yeah, I don't really see the workshop like that. I'm hearing that. Like, I don't really see, like, also, like, the Wizard and the Wizard of Oz, somebody who is also wanted and, like, has a perfect image that it can depict. Interesting. So it's like, maybe someone's casting someone for a role, and it's like, it's just as much about the attitude as it is about the whole procession that presents you. I'm hearing also pompously. I don't know what I was like. Okay. Leo, I'm hearing Cancer. So somebody maybe feels like they want to look at someone's upbringing. Yeah, nice, big time. Well, they're like, look, if somebody's going to actually be on the reel, they better be ready for it. It's not for everyone, I'm hearing as well. And like, what it really comes down to is like how you represent the space, not just like your character in it, but like the space, the industry, how you're a role model in that space. And like, any major teen pop star, I'm hearing that specifically, like, how is it that they kind of, like, set the stage for others, right? So people look at that stage and they're like, wow, I want to be, like, really famous like that. Like, is that the word? I mean, that they're using? Like, take it as you will. So for a number of you, it's like, somebody feels like, this has to do with dance. I'm hearing the dance routine. Like, someone's like, I totally cannot leave this world leaving that kind of legacy, I would be so coming back. I'm hearing to Earth another time again as well. I feel like just karmically it's just not right. I don't know what this is. Leo. Eight of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. Now, for a number of you, there's something that you feel like you have to tell people. You have to tell people. Okay, like, is actually like part of the whole tale. I'm hearing also of life. And for a number of you, you're actually like, you've had some sort of experience. It's like a long journey. You've perhaps, as you feel, like learned a lot of things along the way, and you feel like it's your duty or mission also to sort of like talk about it. And sure, it's easy to hand out money. Sure, it's easy to just hope that people do the right thing with it. But at the end of the day, hope is also what I'm hearing, communicate your hope as. So it's like you feel like you're setting the stage. You feel like you're actually leading the space out, and it's on more than a level that is just financial or in terms of opportunity. For a number of you, I'm hearing you have a production company, and it's like you want to maybe be very careful about what products also you take on to the next round of production, even that you produce, that you choose to promote. For a number of you, it's like you want to be very careful. I'm hearing angel investment. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm seeing someone's like, they have an angel investment firm even, and they're like, these people show up, they're wearing these wings, they're like, hey, I'm ready to be made a teen pop star. I'm hearing that as well. And then we like talk to them a little bit. We're like, so why are you here? Why do you think you're ready? And they're like, well, I'm an angel and I need angel investment. So Leo, Nine of Wands leading you out. Okay. Yikes. So for a number of you, well, no judgment, but it's like, look, Leo, listen, you got an important brand here, right? Identity. It's maybe even in a reputation. You're like, well, this is the name of my company. And if I curate companies that eventually call themselves that, I'm hearing, or in that way, like entitled, that's on me. I'm hearing my name is slandered. At that point, it's not really embarrassing for them. It's more embarrassing for me. I'm hearing in that way. Maybe that's how someone feels. Now, for a number of you, it has to do with the community. The real, I'm hearing down-to-earth discussion that happens there. Why do we want to really make it big? At the end of the day, the discussions with the devil. What is it that we feel we want? What is it we actually really want, though? Do we want the fame? Do we want the riches? Do we want, like, all the parties, all the swag, all the after parties as well? Is that really the point, I'm hearing, of the portrait that we paint about ourselves? I'm hearing, look at Instagram. Is it real? Okay. The devil here with the Seven of Cups. Like, do we want to just take that to the next level and, like, just plaster it on the wall? Like, what's the point of also having all of the production around? I'm hearing the set that somewhat is a story. I'm hearing that's fake. I'm hearing as well. So for a number of you, like, someone's like, yeah, I don't want to plan. Also, like, paparazzi around, you know, like, talks that didn't really even happen. Like, I don't know. For a number of you, maybe you're like, it's getting a little weird. The lines are getting crossed here. I feel like everyone's hair is falling out as well. Like, there's a lot of pressure. Everyone's, like, frantic. They all want the parents. They all want their children to be the next Velma. They want to be on the next ad of Skechers. And I feel like I need to stop everyone in the tracks and tell them that they're not the star. But it's not because they're not. It's because they're not staring. I'm hearing at the right one in the sky. I'm hearing when they're telling their story out loud. Someone's like, I don't buy it. Maybe they even like interview kids who want to be famous and they're just like, I know it's not in you. I'm hearing, honey, you don't actually want it. I'm hearing your home. I'm hearing maybe your home life. I'm hearing maybe needs it. Like, why do you want to be like a famous b-ball star? I'm hearing the Nine of Swords, Nine of Pentacles. What would this training actually do? Like, you're tall and lanky, I'm hearing, and you love to play. But is it enough for you to take the lane, I'm hearing, over what you love? I'm hearing that as well. Like, no judgment. I'm just hearing that coming through. I'm just channeling what's coming through. No judgment. Not to say that someone who's tall and lanky only can be a star at b-ball in the way. Okay. But maybe someone, like, they claim some sort of, like, so-called stereotype. And they're like, you know, listen, I'm hearing the point of you being here on Earth is to be your best version, right? Now, that doesn't mean that it's something that you can do. You could do a lot of things, all right? You could be like a perfect painter, you could be a carpenter, you could be a classroom, I'm hearing fanatic. You could be totally like, you could be a bookworm, you could get lost in books, academics, you could, earn one degree to the next. You could do a number of things. Let's highlight and underline that word, right? Could. But when you're on the stage performing, the person you go home to after the show is always you. That's who you sleep next to truly at night. I'm hearing, even if you've got a girl by your side, doesn't matter. I'm hearing you have either a guilty or I'm hearing a clear conscience in terms of your mission statement of why you do what you do. To say it this way, if let's say you're creating something or you feel like you're somehow, it may not be literally Leo. You might be feeling like, well, am I promoting this space that makes people feel like they're pop stars because they pop on stage? Or does it make people feel like they're a pop star no matter what it is that they choose to do professionally, personally, and how they choose to portray that in the public light? Like, what defines pop star? Okay, dumb and potential that has been reached. So again, it's like, is it that I could do this and that I did it? Kudos to who, right? I'm hearing, is it the community? I'm hearing that makes your life feel real for you. Or is it the community that really, I'm hearing, recognizes you in it? Wow. So, you could have also a lot of friends. I'm hearing that as well, Leo. You could feel like, I've fallen into place. I found my group, my gang. I'm in with the girls, I'm in with the guys. I got a fair share of both here on either side. I'm in love with a certain light that's cast over my life. Leo. But I have to live with myself. I'm not living with these other people. I'm not going to be their perfect match, I'm hearing as well, if I'm not that person for myself. I will never have also a perfect relationship if I am not accepting. I'm hearing also of my gender. I'm not sure what that's alluding to with the Two of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, and the Father of Swords. I'm hearing my history, my past, what it is that also I truly feel that I love. I'm hearing my pastors. I'm hearing that as well. The Father of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Two of Cups. Like, someone feels like they're forsaking even some sort of like, really, I'm hearing a high call. I'm hearing to promote some sort of ideal framework. I'm hearing foundation even of so-called like future successes to come. I don't know what that maybe like. Look, again, it's like I have also something that I feel I can also share, and I don't want people to feel like they're jumping through hoops just to like feel that they've won it, right? They should want it, like, and at that point it shouldn't be something that they're dying. I'm hearing like they're at the like stake to win. Like, if they truly want it, they won't bleed, right, for it. I'm hearing necessarily, because if it doesn't come the first round, it'll come again, and they know that. But if they're under so much pressure, okay, to become something, again, to a certain level and degree within the certain spectrum of time that is unrealistic. Again, I'm hearing that. So this came through the Libra reading so strongly. If that's the type of stage that they feel they have to accommodate, they feel they have to accommodate it in any particular way, at any particular time, it's just a story, okay? And it's just something that will be starred, will be shown, will be started up, I'm hearing perhaps even, and then set aside. And what happens at that point? Not to that person, okay, and their supposed success, but what happens to the person inside of them when they are, I'm hearing distance from actually that crowd. Interesting. So yeah, someone actually maybe feels like I'm setting people up for completely losing themselves. This is not for everyone, but for a number of you, maybe someone feels like I'm totally not preparing these people also for the real world. Maybe for it has come down to parenting, and you're like, we're really rich. My parents are rich, and I'm rich, and I'm promoting my kids. I'm hearing to kind of like plaster, I'm hearing themselves with good looks. I don't know what that's like from every angle. I don't know what. No judgment. Leo, just coming through. This could be what someone has also like kind of recognized of like a certain I'm hearing responsive I'm hearing reaction, like someone maybe sees like a certain community has sort of shifted, or like everything's about like how many likes you getting, how much do your good looks actually serve you, like are you monetizing that, like I don't know. And it's like something even like that someone feels it's totally a slam dunk, but in the wrong hoop, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you technically got it. I'm hearing you've got it, okay? Like I don't know, you want me to tell you that your white teeth are like working for you? Like, yeah, all right. I'm hearing you can definitely work at I'm hearing a good I'm hearing a potato and meatball shop there. I don't know what that's going to do. Okay, Leo. I could definitely work at also like, a campaign there for Crest. Okay, but are you winking at the crowd? I'm hearing with your heart sleeve. I'm hearing your heart sleeve, I'm hearing torn open. Like, where's the vulnerability, the sense of humility, even humanity, where it's like, Leo, all right, how far do we have to go? Okay, Death card leading you out with the Justice card, no judgment, but it's just coming through. For a number, you're like, maybe it's also like, you don't want to beat the dead horse, like, across the track and tell everyone, like, listen, okay, like, either you're, like, dumb or you're dumber. I'm hearing it's not about, like, I'm hearing your ability to also distract the audience from, like, the future that you're not actually addressing. Like, I don't know what I'm hearing, football, football, I'm hearing football. It's, like, for a number of you, it's, like, it's not about, like, your ability to, like, toughen up and, like, sink or swim, okay, and decide that, whatever. For a number of you, I'm hearing superstardom is the way. It's, like, you don't want to perhaps feel like some people also either make it or they don't, and that's something that's very controversial, okay? Because in any space that is perhaps even, like, somewhat repetitive, there's a certain routine, perhaps, that someone feels like, well, technically, like, we cannot replace good with Goldilocks, right? Like, I don't know what that's about, no judgment, I'm not saying that. But it's like, maybe someone feels like there is a certain, like, I'm hearing also taboo or, like, tabloid, like, there's, like, a formula, like, something is expected, and it's like, well, just naturally, okay, like, peacocks with more feathers will have more to fly with. I don't know, let's not go there, though, with the Nine of Pentacles. Like, it's a formula even for making money, and someone's like, look, that's just not. I'm hearing people can make money in a number of ways, okay? Let's remember that. It's not just also with fame. I'm hearing that specifically. So, it's like, why flirt? I'm hearing with a future that you don't really feel, okay, is like really memorable as well. I don't know, you're like, well, I'm not making memories, even like for a number of years, just a lot of pressure, a lot of pain even in this space, and you're just like, I don't even like have time to like connect with my close friends. Like, I just feel like my so-called mission is just overtaking like any personal time and any personal story even that I have of myself. So anyhow, let's clear that, Leo. I'm hearing again, no judgment, but maybe someone feels like, I could tell Jessica again, I'm hearing Jessica, that she's the pride of the pack, and that every also like lover ought to have her. But if I'm not practicing, I'm hearing my potential, I'm hearing because I want to save, also I'm hearing her reputation, or her I'm hearing protect, I'm hearing her parents also reputation. I don't know what, let's clear that. It's like, even if I want to like present or protect her personality or her potential, so-called, in this space, I would be actually sacrificing and really tainting my I'm hearing my talk with myself. I'm hearing, and that's, I can't take, I'm hearing football to that level. I'm hearing that with the Nine of Pentacles. I don't know what that's alluding to. Hunk there, Hong Kong. Yeah, someone's pulling out of something. Maybe this is not for everyone, but they're talking about it. They're thinking, I want to just tell them that it's also not about good looks. I'm hearing that. which is kind of weird because it's like, I don't know, maybe someone feels like, well, I technically work and like, I'm hearing that Timmy Tonka talks perfectly, I'm hearing telemarketing sort of, you know, type of, I'm hearing tape discussion. I don't know what that's about. It's like, but then I feel like, I'm hearing Hiracy. I feel like the Hierophant who, like, has no more news. I'm hearing also that it needs to give anyone, and it's like, maybe something's just also turning into something, it's just on repeat, and it's kind of like a recycled space as well, and like, everyone is like also hooking up with everyone. I don't know why that, anyways. For me, this is Tinder. Okay. You're like, yeah, I'm on Tinder, and I need to take my freaking profile off. Okay. Let's pull the stacks for you, Leo. First stack. Okay, second stack. Third stack. Okay, now you have in the first stack, you got the Sun in reverse, okay, or horizontally laid, but Sun in reverse. Six of Swords here, upright, Lovers in reverse, mirroring the Sun. Seven of Swords, upright, mirroring the Six of Swords. Now, I'm hearing Bilancia. Okay, interesting. Doesn't that means like, Bilancia, that means like law. I'm hearing pedigree. I'm hearing grooming as well, talent. Okay, this came through in the Leo reading, in the Libra reading. These exact cards actually came through in the beginning, in the intro of the Libra reading. So if you do feel guided, feel free to watch, dear Leo. Now, Bilancia, I think in Italian that means law, legality. So for a number of you, you're actually, you have something you want to say, and it's something that you feel like, I can't just like take the pen out and like end up writing it in pencil. I'm hearing, but also like end up like just talking about it instead. Like someone feels like, no, I need to make it super official, super obvious as well. Someone feels like they need to even like present something like on behalf of a board, a team of, you know, I'm hearing missions here with the Son of Pentacles in reverse. For number, it's a committee. Okay, so it's something that you want to get past. It could be a law, actually. I'm hearing Levi Strauss again. This came through in the Libra reading. A Seven of Pentacles upright. I'm hearing Levi jeans as well. Seven of Pentacles upright. I'm hearing leave it be. I'm hearing that as well. So there's something maybe you like. You're thinking like, should I really take it on legally, or should I just kind of like? I'm hearing let it go on its own. I'm hearing levitate. Seven of Pentacles, Five of Wands in reverse. For number, there's like something you feel you need to discuss. Five of Pentacles in reverse with the Five of Wands in reverse. This has to do with your resources and strategy. So it's something related to efficiency, but actually it's more a matter of like not just being efficient, but being I'm hearing like transparent with needs at any given time. In other words, it's like, well, we need to compensate for the humanity here that goes into the space, and that's not necessarily something that we can count, calculate, etc. It's like, what are the needs at any given moment? Like, do certain people on the team need time out? Like, just freaking time out. Like, let them talk to their friends, their parents, their teacher, the two front teeth, whatever it is. Like, they've got something that they need to like, you know, kind of reflect on, like give them that time to sort of reflect and introvert, I'm hearing as well, right? So there could be this sort of like overextension, the space of like, well, always on, you're always on in a way of promoting where, you know, where is the time to sort of catch up with the conversation with even like your heart space, like in that requires like vulnerability. So if we think about constantly extroverting, we're thinking about the yang element like prominently and dominantly at play. So where does that leave time to sort of retreat into the space of the yin, right? Where we're in the receptive mode, first with ourselves, right? And then able to activate that same space with others. So for a number of you, it's like it's just gotten also real, like, yeah, anyway, so let's pull through our cards. High Priestess in reverse for you. Star in reverse. Four of Wands in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse. Ten of Cups in reverse. So for a number of you, there's something that you're actually like, you're retreating. Okay, I'm seeing someone's retreating. They're pulling maybe even out of a space, or they feel like they're required to do so, and or they want to take time off from carrying out a certain way, that something has been like let out to a certain point. So maybe someone feels like it's something about the setup, even the strategy. It could be contractually. Maybe someone feels like, well, I want to give teammates more time off. I'm hearing as well. I'm hearing sick leave, paid sick leave. I'm hearing that as well. I'm hearing tummy troubles. Like, you know, do you feel like you want to go play with your train? Okay, like you should be able to do that. Yeah, please. I'm hearing, please do that. Like, it's even like you have to take vacation time. I'm hearing that as well with the Son of Wands. Anyways, let's clear that. For a number of you, it's something that you feel you need to also maybe have a conversation around. For a number of you, it's something of a program that you feel like you perhaps want to like, you want to reestablish something. It may have to do with some kind of protocol. Now we have here the second stack, Nine of Swords upright, and the Nine of Pentacles again coming through together. Then we have the Seven of Cups upright and the Devil upright. I'm hearing it's a new division of the team. Three of Pentacles upright. So maybe someone's like, look, it shouldn't necessarily be like either you pass or you fail. Maybe it should be something that's like a little less competitive. Like, it's not necessarily like, hi, you told us the right answers, and so you're tough enough. Like, I don't know what that's about, but maybe someone's like, yeah, it shouldn't be like where they leave feeling like totally unrealistic also. Let's clear that. Like, totally also like feeling defeated. Like, no, okay? We need to put this in context. Like, if this is something that actually doesn't surface as expected, maybe again, like even in the first stages, that's okay, and that's perfectly fine. You know, if there are times where you don't feel also like doing something, and maybe it's because you have some sort of personal life thing that's going on. I'm hearing, what is that considered? Why would your personal life be separate from your professional life? But maybe someone's like, well, I have a personality, and sometimes I have things that I need to say at certain times, and I feel like I can't do those things, I can't say those things, like can't talk to certain people at certain times, and it's because of maybe even a contract that's in place, and I feel like I'm shaving my head at times that I also don't want to. I'm hearing that as well, and it really like, it wrecks my mood. I'm hearing as well. So for whatever reason, someone's like thinking like, what motivates me? What makes me feel like I'm actually also wanting to regenerate in this space and really create in it? And so for a number of you, it's like, is it always about like focusing on the competition? I'm hearing, let's clear that. On the colors, I'm hearing as well, in the story of Sink or Swim, it's like, I'm seeing people thrown into an ocean and they're like, swim, now swim. And it's like, I'm seeing these people, like, I'm hearing fish. They're like, they're swimming, but they're focused on the colors that they see in the water. And it's like, this is not the point. It's not about like, you know, goldfish. It's like, hello, you're a goldfish because you're meant to find gold. And it's like, no, I'm a goldfish because I'm a goldfish, and I'm gold no matter what. I'm a freaking star no matter what. And even if I don't end up finding, okay, any silver shiny thing at the bottom of the ocean, like, that's damn all right. Okay, I don't need to feel like I found also like the prettiest penny at the bottom of the sea. Like, let's clear that. Someone feels like truly like there's too much pressure in a certain environment, and these kids are too young. I'm hearing that. Like, it's just too sorry. Okay, you can't have kids like talking about investment with also like some kind of program coordinator before they even like have learned to take out the trash, like and take care of their I'm hearing, oh wow, I'm seeing like their hallucinations. Okay, so someone may be like, oh wow, it has to do with fantasy. Okay, like maybe someone is like, well, I feel like I'm playing on the imagination of these kids, and like, that's not right. I'm hearing that. Let's clear that, Leo. But anyhow, it could be something that you feel you just want to kind of like give more context to feel that you're kind of like not just also like placing something at the finish line and like making like the teammates feel like, you know, I'm Thomas and I talk to trains. I don't know what that's about. Like, maybe someone feels like, well, the intention is good. I want to give people an opportunity, right? to also talk about their passions, but shouldn't be in the way maybe of where it leads to this point of like it's all or nothing, and you become that one topic. Like, you know, everybody's multifaceted, right? Let's remind, I'm hearing ourselves that people also change, they evolve, you know? So the trouble of perhaps the contractual space when it comes to creative projects is that it kind of, it kind of carves out the playground a little bit, and it makes the players feel like, they're actually producers of a certain mindset that even if at a certain point in time, like, was real for them, like, but then it became something that was like, okay, no, it's going to become so real that there's no room to actually live outside of it. And it really disturbs the personality space of feeling also accepted. Like, think about this, like, if you're a creative content producer and you may be I'm hearing even a production assistant, okay, like, maybe you're in, whatever, not necessarily, let's say, an underage child, what is age, take as you will, what is a child, but it's like, you know, it's like, well, let's just say that you really wanted something, right? And, like, you're like, yeah, this is my perfect outcome as well. Like, maybe you thought, like, you told yourself, like, also since you were, like, a teenager, you're like, well, I always talk to, like, you know, people, like, above my age about also this. Like, it was also something that I was preyed on for. Like, people were, like, waiting to pick me up once it was that I reached the performative age. And so, for a number of you, you actually were a star before you came one, in a way. Like, you're like, I was just set up for that. And for a number of you, perhaps, like, it got to the point where you're like, okay, well, then it's like, this is who I am. And then it's not that it wasn't who I was at a certain point, or an aspect of who I felt, right, myself through, but I just needed freedom, right? Creativity, it's like, how could you take creativity and say, well, it is a fraction of a statement, right? It's like, how can we say creativity lives in a certain parameter, right, of truth? And so maybe someone feels like it's dangerous to take lives and lead them down a single path, a single road, and say, hey, you're great at performing, so you're a performer. Yeah. Okay. So it's like, and then that becomes your whole career and your whole job, and then you can't feel creative in any other way. It's like, well, maybe one day I don't want to be a performer. Maybe one day I just want to, like, maybe just sing. I'm hearing to the birds, and I just want to, like, be able to, like, start a new project. And, like, I'm hearing also at times, like, grow wings and fly and feel like I'm not the focus of anyone's future. Like, you know, it's great to feel perhaps at times that I'm successful and that I have certain resources and opportunities lined up to take advantage of those capabilities. But sometimes it's also the beauty in the future that we cannot predict. We cannot tell, to say to ourselves or anyone else, like, yeah, I promise this is gonna work out and this will be the outcome, and that it will be because I carried out in this way. So for everybody, somebody's really there, they feel like they're having trouble kind of accommodating, like, the tailored message here when it comes to their personality, okay, and also their take-home message, the personal take-home message. So for a number of you, there's a focus on the physical body and health as well. And it just has to do with, you know, coping mechanisms. And for a number of you, it's like, I just don't want to, I don't want to turn into a disaster. So I kind of just, I draw this plan up in my mind, and then I just kind of, like, pretend like, okay, so hold on, for a number of you, like, somebody's, like, escaping through their mind, like, they've created this whole I'm hearing faceless kingdom. I'm hearing I'm hearing of a free fate, where they're like, I create this world in my mind. I'm seeing this as like a famous person. They're like, I create this world in my mind where nothing rules me. And I just like, I sit back and I relax. I'm hearing that as well. I'm like, I totally recreate my identity. Okay, my audience, even like some of them are angels. I'm hearing that as well. Like, I have no one to like respond to. I have no responsibilities. I'm actually just, I'm hearing Remy. I'm hearing Remy, the Golden Gate Bridge. What's that about? Okay, so somebody is like, maybe they feel like they have to somehow seriously like escape this sense of imprisonment when it comes to their I'm hearing their colored world. Leo. Somebody perhaps feels like they've actually they've like let themselves go, and they're like, well, how is it that I fucking find myself again? They're like, where's my inner child? Hello? I'm hearing Reese. I'm hearing, are you there? I'm hearing, we want you back. I'm hearing as well. I'm hearing Reese. Reese? Sorry, Leo. Strength card here, upright with a full in reverse. Yeah, so maybe somebody is even like, they're having episodes, like they're bob in and out of like reality. They're like, they're not responding. Maybe they refuse to respond also to certain names, like maybe even like a stage name. Like, they're like, it's roomy. I'm hearing complex, like the complex magician. Like, I don't know whether, anyway, somebody maybe like, they feel like they've created this whole like character. They're like, I don't want to be called that. Please don't call me that. I don't want to be called that. I'm hearing that. So like, and it could be even a child who's like, I don't want to be called like the Fantastic Four. I'm hearing bunnies in the room that know how to hop. Like, I don't know. Anyways, whatever, it's just like a play, like your child's in, and they're just like, no, they're not having it. If this doesn't traumatize, if this video does not traumatize every parent from ever, like, having their kid perform in anything ever, is like, no! Sammy's like, I want to be like a superhero in an action movie. No. You need to see yourself clearly before you see yourself on stage. No, I'm sorry. Here's a book about the stars and how you can gaze up at them, like, the world. I'm hearing is it could be either a grave or I'm hearing a wonderful, great place. Make it yours though, whatever you do, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Okay, so maybe somebody feel like at that point they're like, yeah, I don't want my kids to grow up like wishing they hadn't known me. I'm hearing as well, like, I don't want to be the whole moral of that story as well, that like push them into the line that they didn't want to wait in, and like la 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 la, and like make them feel like they were like, somehow indebted to a talent that they had. Like, oh gosh, oh hell no. I'm hearing, I don't want them to feel like they couldn't even like have also real friends by their side because they had this ability. Like, okay, so for a number of you, it's something that someone feels like, that's great, whatever this ability is. However, it's the way in which perhaps it's also like announced and or brought out. So, little story. Leo. When I was young, right, my family will, like, whenever people, let's say they passers-by, okay, they sort of like so-called met me as a little toddler, as a little tot, they would always kind of like, they come up to my parents and be like, you gotta put her in movies, like, come on, what, you gotta do it, you've got to do it. Like, they took my parents like by the hand, they would like shake them, they're like, listen, like, the Shirley Temple, like, no question. And I was just like Shirley Temple when I was younger, and they said that I had some sort of quirky, hey, all right. But maybe for a number of you, it's like, yeah, okay. And so, I'm hearing like show up. I'm hearing showgirl, kind of attitude. I don't know. Anyways, and it's like, so, and my parents, they very well knew like there was maybe some sort of like potential there, but they decided not to. Okay, and anyway, they decided like, we don't want, and not to say, not to bash anyone who, let's say, did decide to do that, did decide to take that route, or anyone whose parents did decide to take that route. Not at all, right? But just a little story, if it does somehow resonate, potentially for a number of you, or someone that you may know. And it's like, they realize, like, yes, I'm hearing she could have, and she probably would have if we would have kind of walked down that path. I'm hearing also with her. But, you know, did we want to lead? I'm hearing our little munchkin down. I'm hearing in a little white dress. I'm hearing to a wonderland that she didn't wake up in. I'm hearing herself naturally. Okay, channeling my parents right there. Okay, didn't know that that's actually, all right, but hey. But they said it in, like, let's say, a casual way. They were like, well, we didn't want to, like, make, you know, make this whole world, you know, for you as well. And that's just, it wasn't something that they felt was right. Now, again, not to say at all, not to bash at all that, you know, that could be a path, okay, of also certainty for another parent or another person, even that they take on with themselves. And for a number of you, this might actually be absolutely you with you. Now, fast forwarding, okay, like, throughout my life, I found that I was kind of, like, typically drawn to environments where I was kind of, like, showcasing, right? Like, a side of my, let's say, my persona, my abilities. I'm hearing is that as well. Okay, coming my midhaven to Leo, all right. And it's like, I actually got my sun as well in Pisces in the 5th house, crossover 5th, 4th house, the house of Leo and the house of Cancer. Got my Mercury in as well, the 5th house, house of Leo, and I've got as well Jupiter in Leo in the 9th house, conjunct my midhaven in Leo, and I've got my Venus in the crossover of the 5th house, house of Leo, and the house of the 6th house. So there's a lot of right energy. I am definitely feeling this, and take it as you will, and there's going to be a message for me as well, of course, right? We've all got every element and archetype in our chart, but I'm not sure if it's a personal story that's coming through here. Okay, whatever it is. Now, so, you know, it's interesting because throughout my life, right, like, I can say, like, so-called, I lived this sort of normal life. I was not, like, in the limelight. I, like, in my teen years, whatever. Like, there was not, like, this also, like, very heavy emphasis on, you know, like, oh, everything is, like, green. I'm hearing that. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this over again. Again, particular message perhaps coming through in whatever way. So, you know, it's not like, okay, like, you're a star, so, like, you're destined or whatever. But it was like, there was this impulse that I felt at times, rather in this way, to say in this way, that there was an impulse, right, to gravitate towards certain even industries and certain types of content, creating that sort of content at certain times. That was just kind of like a wave, a natural wave for me that I felt at certain times. And I felt, you know what, I just kind of feel like I want to work in this way at this time. And I did. And so I would start projects here and there. Like, I actually did, like, different things, like, online, and some of them, like, you know, they worked to a certain degree and in a certain way, and it was a wave, and it culminated, climax, and then it sort of, like, you know, it kind of carried itself out naturally, right, to the coastline, to be then again taken back into the ocean. I'm hearing reconfigured and then remastered and remanifest as something else. So there was a sort of natural cycle, a natural wave, let's say, to the way that I actually worked with this, let's say, this so-called talent, okay, that maybe some saw in me, or maybe that I felt naturally in myself, I actually did want to capitalize on at certain times. So for a number of you, it's like, well, to say it this way, what's real, what's right, and what's natural will always sort of be. So let's say someone, as you might feel it, you're like, maybe this could be someone you know, you're like, they totally have potential, like, no question or doubt, like, they can be the greatest, also, child actor, I'm hearing star, whatever it may be, but is it up to me to define how that greatness shows through, okay, in their life, right? So that sometimes is tricky when we see that there's potential somewhere, right? Naturally, it's like, as people, we want to capitalize on the very best as well of others, and, you know, at certain times, and so wanting to take the match, okay, and light it and say it's the stick, and I want to show also maybe this person how to plan out their life in the way that I see maybe there is potential. You know, at times may not be, let's say, the I'm hearing the protocol. I'm hearing their natural. I'm hearing gestation. Interesting. So it's like, you know, again, it's like, it's funny because the other day my mom was like, you know, it's so funny, Natalie, because like, it's funny, you kind of got this like audience thing kind of going, and everyone does, whether or not you've got so-called followers. And what are followers, right? But figments also of your imagination. I'm hearing that specifically. You know, what does it mean to like also like find that people somehow resonate with your own concepts? I'm hearing that as well, like resonate also with your content. Again, like what purpose is that serving? And coming back to the point of reflection of, not to say that, hey, it's not cool, right, to feel like people follow your work and totally appreciate it. And that's, I can vouch that that's an awesome feeling, and it's really lovely. But what it comes down to, Leo, is knowing that you love yourself in that way in the process first, and not that it's like the other way around, right? That other people loving your work is more important. Now, that's also something that is cyclical, and that's really important to mention here. I'm hearing that specifically, like, it may be that one day you're like, hey, I love to feel like I'm a famous DJ. Maybe the next day I want to feel like I can hang out by a dumpster and like not get picked up. I'm hearing by the Daily Show the next day, and, you know, be questioned on like why I was hanging around with like another, I'm hearing done it again crowd. I don't know what that's alluding to, but maybe for a number of you, it's like, I just want to sometimes have this sort of normal life, so-called. What does that mean? And it's like, for a number of you, it has to do with how it is that you actually perform. So let's say it in this way. For a number of you have a talent, you have a skill, and you're like, well, I know that it also can really like, it could be like called something. Let's just say it in that way, like whatever. But I don't want to like create this complex perhaps even around it, and or I want to know that I can move in and out of that space freely, naturally, that industry doesn't define, the one that also maybe at a certain point I feel I want to create. So for Narita, it is a matter of maintaining the space to find also your future. I'm hearing in between the lines, and to feel rather that you can innovate that space, honestly. So it's interesting because, let's say at a certain point in time, right, you do maybe even like you start some sort of entrepreneurial project. Leo, at a certain point in time, even our own decisions that we make for ourselves, even the decisions that we make confidently at certain points in time, can create a sort of construct through which we then feel liable, right, to live through. So in other words, it's like, just because you create your own business or your own creative sort of image, right, doesn't mean that you bypass that space of feeling like somehow that it can create a ceiling of your character, your image, altogether. So it's like, when do you never cease to continue the process of discovering your presence? I'm hearing mind, body, soul on this plane. So for a number of you, it's like, maybe sometimes again, it's like, well, I want to be really public. And then sometimes it's like, well, I kind of want to be more private. And maybe there's a focus on the aesthetic and the physical body at certain times, the performative aspect. And then other times it's like, I don't want to show anything, and I just want to maybe like sulk. I hear that as well. Like for a number of you, maybe you're like, it's just something that is a natural sort of cycle of also involuntary. I'm hearing self-reflection, mind, body, soul. Again, I'm hearing that specifically. So, you know, I have a talent, let's say, I'm hearing this for a number of you as well. I have a talent of a gift. It's not a gift just because it can be looked at in a certain way as well by a certain population group of people. Maybe that gift is something that I want to nourish in different ways. Like my ability to sing doesn't always mean that it's on a stage and a big stadium, you know? At times it may be, but those times shouldn't influence the times that I feel that I want to take that. I'm hearing also that gift. I'm hearing from the greatest. I'm hearing platforms and sort of like place it back down. I'm hearing on the first shelf that I first lifted it off from. So for a number of you, it's like, let yourself take a break, Leo. I'm hearing that right off the bat. This is for a number of you, group 3, strongly. It's like, I feel like I am to blame. I'm hearing this as well for a number of you, like you feel that you're actually at a boiling point. It's actually, for a number of you, you may feel it like no one's so-called fault. What is that fault? But for a number of you, like, I realize that I created, I'm hearing the monster inside of my head. Like, some of you may realize, like, I also don't really have myself to blame. I have my I'm hearing my faces that I want to face. I'm hearing I want to face, and you know, no one's telling me that I need to do this, right? But it's just something that I feel is actually part of what makes me. I'm hearing the so-called famous that I am. I'm hearing that as well with the Ace of Cups, the Strength card, Three of Cups, and the Fool. So to say it in this way, maybe, and it may be like on differing scales. For a number of you, maybe you've generated, I'm hearing also millions of dollars of cash flow, and you're like, I want to take time off to like really feel like I'm reaping the benefits on the community front. Like, I want to feel like I'm reaching out to, my work is actually living out on levels that are not monetary and not financial. It's real important, perhaps, for a number of you. For a number of you, and that just means taking time off. Plain and simple, like, you're like, yeah, I want to just pull out of the whole problem set. I want to stop calculating, crunching numbers. I want to totally just kind of like take a very passive approach. And for a number of you, it's kind of maybe so-called ironic, because the way that you've generated, perhaps even like your stamina to this point has been built upon so much so the era of I'm hearing lights, camera, action. I'm hearing competition as well, where it's like I've always been in that sort of on mode of ongoing, also belief in myself that I can do it, and so on and so forth. So maybe it's like, now it's time to take the totem pole down sort of feeling, and talk myself back into the bathroom stall that I feel maybe I need to like kind of blow my nose out in. Leo, got a little Leo on my chart. All right. Yeah, and kind of, clean up the mess. I'm hearing that I realize that I have maybe in some ways created, be it on an emotional level, be it physically, so on and so forth, whatever it may be, and realize that my land is not going to love me just because I show up there in a certain way or not. If something is also meant to be, it will always love you back, no matter where you go, Leo. It's beautiful when you realize that where you belong is where you're not just like accepted, but where you're appreciated. Also, no matter how long it is that you stay or choose to stay. In other words, it's like if somebody really appreciates you, right? Let's say your audience really appreciates you, even if it is that you do take, let's say, a little break, or you take time out to just kind of like feed, I'm hearing, and nourish your soul, your spirit. You know, if you do lead back, at a certain point lead back to that platform, to that stage at a certain point in time, Leo, and you see people are still there, right? The beauty of that moment is that you know that that's real. And that they're not just there, right, to give you the reality check that serves also their needs. You realize, Leo, that the score that you keep is not one that you hold with others, but with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, and you see that others appreciate that honesty that you hold with yourself, you will not regret. Recognizing yourself, I'm hearing first. And taking, I'm hearing, the time that you need to make sure that you're real with that image, Leo. Who appreciates you won't come and say, hey, you're like really the best. Don't stop. All right, Leo, they won't say that. Unless they have some sort of vested interest, right? Why would somebody come and say, hey, like, Leo, like, you're seriously the best? Like, don't stop. Why would someone bring it upon themselves to come through and tell you what to do with your magic if they have no meditated sort of interest in that space? So and that could be it could be on a subconscious level. It may not be, literal, whatever it is. It's like by way of a link to someone else who may be, it's like, we don't know. It could be on some subconscious level, right? It's like, I love your company, don't leave us. I'm hearing that as well. It's like, I'm not saying that anyone should be persecuted here at all. Maybe this is also what you're coming out with, or somebody may be coming through with. It's like, but when someone loves how you play your music because of the way that they see you play it, Leo, that's when you know that they just want you to play, and not to play it necessarily for them as well. Isn't that unconditional love? Oh my goodness. Isn't it so lovely also, right? To feel that, well, even if I'm successful and even if I step away from that space of success, that I'm still solid gold in a number of people's eyes, that doesn't like distract from, right, the decisions that I make, where what they love about me also doesn't lead me down lanes that I feel I need to like kind of race my inner child off of. Wow. So it's like, I'm hearing, if I find as well that what I sort of call as my reality is something that I feel I can let go of at any moment and find myself still represented in it. I'm hearing even down the line, or I'm hearing 2-3 years, I'm hearing in 23 days, I'm hearing as well for a number of you. I'm hearing for a number of you, like, you want to just take some downtime. You're like, I want to just take a break and like stop working on this and just stop talking about this and just go on a complete hiatus, like completely, like, I just want to, like, I'm hearing also stop my whole Instagram, I'm hearing my followers, everything. I just want to like just stop, and not without any like promise to return as well. That's a big thing here. I'm hearing for a number of you. 1:36 on the clock here for a number of you, and 26 right there. It's like, it's not about like saying, guys, I'm so sorry, like, I hope that you're not going to be too upset about this, like, okay, whatever, I don't know what those going to do, like, I just need to take time off. I hope I'll be back by this time. Like, if you set up, right, even like certain measures where you're like, okay, I really like, I hope I'll be back and by this time, and I hope that you will also like still be there. Like, this is conditional. This is like a conditional connection where it's like, there is a sort of platform that connects us rather than like the power I'm hearing the interaction itself. Like, in other words, it doesn't matter like what we actually like create in this moment, right? It doesn't mean like I created it and then it's perfect and then that's why you love it. Like, but rather it is the interpretation of what simply naturally becomes in that space. Like, for a number of you, realizing also who you really, you're in a process of like finding your real friends. I'm hearing that as well, like finding also, not to say that people had malintentions, but to say like that, or intent, whatever, it's like, no, but in the way of like, I want to kind of like, I want to dissolve the mountain ranges that I'm hearing wouldn't actually motivate me to move up them. So it's really you with you. I'm seeing that it's not like, oh my god, my fans are fake. No. Leo, not necessarily, but general reading, apply it to your situation as you do. It's like, no, I paid for those followers. I'm hearing that. I did not say that, Leo. Okay. But for a number of you, it's like, for a number of you, your fans truly, like, it's tragic to hear, like, Leo, what? What do you mean you're leaving? What do you mean you're leaving? I'm hearing Leia, the Fool Upright. I'm hearing, I'm gonna take you to the candy shop. I don't know whether the Fool and Six of Pentacles. I'm hearing, yeah, no. I'm leaving the fast lane, the highway, the helicopter business, everything. I'm hearing, I'm letting it all go. I'm gonna let it slide. And if, you know what? If at the end of the day, I'm hearing, listen, Patrick, I'm hearing Malloy, I don't know whether someone's like, taking their friend and looking at them, like, seeing someone look at their friend straight in the eyes. They're like, listen, I'm hearing Sagittarius, they're like, if everything slides off the mountain and lands at the bottom, and if everyone, I'm hearing, at that point in time, in the future, feed off of that space of whatever that is, that's going to be my fantasy, because I wanted that to happen. I wanted that to be exactly, okay, what the future held, the reality of what would be had I not actually confined it to be any one thing. Wow. It's like, I want to know, like, also, are people really, like, how do they really feel? So for whenever someone's like letting something go and they're thinking, well, do they really want it? Are they really interested? Are they really there for the right reasons as well? Well, what if we unplug a little bit and see how people react? It may not necessarily be people, and it may not be in a conscious level. It could even be a way of industry. It's like, I want to know really, like, is this going to affect people? Like, what is actually the effect that this will have? And it could be on even like an economic scale. Like, someone's thinking, like, what's the community reaction going to be? Like, fiscally, I'm hearing, would it fizzle out? Like, is it something that people will be like, oh, bummer, and then it's like, but then they find a new boyfriend, I'm hearing, as well, in town, and you know, what is the level and the degree? So someone may be dealing with a Scorpio, or someone has a lot of Scorpio, and they're like, you know, I just want to know how soft the soap is. I'm hearing when it's in their hand, like, will it just like slip right out, and like, will they pick it up after it falls, sort of feeling. Okay, I don't know what that's going to do. Hong Kong. Okay. So I'm hearing, well, that's great news. Like, somebody perhaps is like, they're presenting something to the grandmother. I'm hearing as well, like, someone's like so glad to hear that someone's like off of some talk show as well. They're like, oh my God, you're done with all of the the all great reef barrier news. I'm hearing that you bring to everyone. I'm hearing that as well. Like, someone's even an anchor on a show or something. They're like, you totally, like, what do you, oh my goodness, I'm so happy for you. Like, somebody's like they're someone's family. I'm hearing it's a magnetic reaction. They're like, they feel the happiness of this person when they make this decision to finally pull out of whatever also this space is, this industry, and they're like, I feel your happiness. I'm hearing that for a number of you, and it's like, whoa, that's a real friend. You know, because maybe for a number of you, Leo, like, you present something, and like, some people, they look at you and they're like, you're like, they make you feel bad, truly. They're like, you let go of your whole, like, financial, like, system of also, like, beliefs, and like, you build this whole empire, and like, you just let it, like, brand itself now. Like, you just sold it off. I'm hearing, huh? Huntington's News, Huffington Post, like, that's all, huh? You're done? Yeah, right. Anyways, I'm going to go to land, I'm hearing baseball practice. You let me know when you're back in the fast lane. Like, I don't know, Leo, like, let's clear that. But someone is like, they have a real, it's interesting. They have a sudden recognition of, like, by way of the reactive space, who's really in it and for what. So yeah, everyone supposedly had your back in that space. Everybody maybe was like really supportive. Everybody was like really, also they felt like, oh my goodness, like, we feel like we need to support you, we're responsible. And then it's like, when you pull out, it's like, what? Like, wait, so you're not gonna rub my back anymore? What does this mean? Like, I'm not gonna have someone to rub my back? What do you mean? And like, this person's like punching this person in the I'm hearing in the Letterman jacket, like in their arm, the tricep. They're like, what do you mean? They're like, they're kind of like, someone feels like the tension, okay, about even talking about the space, like, and they're like, yeah, I'm hearing, right, I'm not, but why is it? Then they realize, Leo, they realize, be it you, be it another, I'm seeing for no reason strongly this is you realize who left you hanging and why as well. Actually, there are realizations, I'm hearing reality checks that you have, that you feel, I wish that I had known that before I was a soldier that went into combat. I'm hearing to kind of like create that world. I'm hearing also for those people. Wow. So yeah, this corresponds perhaps even with the general reading here, the daily predictions, the message that came through there. But for another review, it's like, yeah, it's interesting when you silence the crowd, who you see stand up and why it is that they do actually object to certain serious also needs, that maybe it is that you actually you really wanted. That's the important thing. Leo, how do you know someone's really your friend, right? It's like, well, when I am really happy, like, is that like, I want to call it like the magnetic reaction. Like, is it like I'm happy and this person's like automatically happy? Or is it like the reaction is like calculative, where it's like they calculate your answer and they're like, so, like, you know, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go solo a little bit. I'm not gonna be training. You know, and then it's like, is the reaction like, okay, well, let me think about your problem, and if that's really the fucking solution, what the fuck, Leo, right? You know? First of all, it's a problem. Okay. What? Second of all, you have the solution. You think that you got the solution to my, you know what I mean? So maybe someone's like, I know what's right for you. That's a first sign that you've got, I'm hearing a radio set. I'm hearing, that belongs to you in the hand of another person. So I take it to Leo, but yeah, something is like, yeah. And it's cool, kind of, because it's actually like, whoa, it's nice to know that real is real, and that's how you can identify it, and that, you know, there really are like real people in the world, and there really are like these floating bubbles, if we could call it that, of flirtation with our financial life. And yeah, whoever has a vested interest in that, shit, I want to know. Shoot, I would rather know who's on, you know. Also, like, my wish list there, like, Grey, I'm hearing, like, Grey's Anatomy. I don't know what that's going to do. Yeah. Yikes. Okay, let's clear that. But yeah, someone's like, sorry, I'm hearing, I'm more than that, at least to myself. But again, I am the one who must tell as well. My own inner soap opera star that I'm not for this. So yeah, it's like, again, it's, yep, your decision. Just split the deck to this Just Judgment card of right. Yeah. So for a review, splitting, again, the main stack, Mother Swords of Bright. 4 Cups in reverse of the face. 3 Wands of Bright. So something for a number you're representing, even to like a big crowd of people, even your family, your parents, really large population. I'm hearing networkers. Yep. And many of them were not prepared for whatever this announcement was. Many of them were players on the same team, technically. Some of them, I'm hearing they transitioned, like, before the table of your talk. So just say it in this way, for a number of you, like, maybe somebody actually, like, they caught wind of whatever this was, they thought this is going to really change the way the wind blows in the industry, and I better start talking about something else here. So I don't know, maybe for a number of you there was a focus on even like industry, stock market, like for a number of you it's a big shift, and you are maybe even like a big player in a certain field, and it's like, okay, so just because like I woke up and I had an awakening and now I'm working for white instead of like dark forces, like, or not to say that white and, you know, you do also need both, right? The space of synthesis, absolutely. But it's like, maybe someone feels like I'm working for like a new team now, and that is team me, team truth, personal truth. And so now that just made you plan your whole future in a totally different way. Good to know. Yeah. No. I'm hearing, don't rub my back. I'm hearing that as well. Don't try to pat me on the back and say, hey, it's all right. You know, no. Silence is the best solution in this case. It is. Trust me. I'm hearing I was a quarterback. I don't know what that's linked to. Temperance of right. All right. Mirroring the strength of the cards. I was like, yes. Okay. I'm glad that I'm training. I'm hearing also, I'm hearing in Tripoli to be like, I'm hearing a seeker of higher knowledge. Like, someone's like, they feel like, okay, can't get like pissed about this, like, in all of the, like, I'm hearing all of the rakes and the leaves and the grass and all of the whole like radio. I'm hearing date players. I don't know what, like, maybe someone's like, people are like recounting some history here, and they're just like, this is just not appropriate, or like not right. And someone's even getting like kids involved. Someone feels like that's totally inappropriate. Now, anyways, let's clear that. I'm hearing again, it's really not right. Now, someone's true character here perhaps comes through, as someone may feel it. And it could be an aspect of your own being, but for a number of you, this is someone you know, or some kind of like public space. I'm hearing aliens, alliance. I'm hearing that, yep, temperance of right. I'm hearing producer. I'm hearing Evo. Anyways, Mother Swords of Bright. I'm hearing television. What is Evo? Okay, anyways. Mother Swords of the Temperance card. There was a lot of pressure, maybe even. Someone resisted that. Maybe certain people, like, they came up to him and they're like, no. What do you mean? Like, you're going to practice a new also religion. I'm hearing that as well. I don't know. Take it as well. It could be, again, general reading. Could be speaking to a number of people in different ways. But somebody's like, yeah, I'm taking time off. Just tell myself that I can be whatever I want to be. And literally, that's what it is. Leo, like, no, we don't have any other reason. People are like, no, wait, what do you mean? They're like, you gotta be doing something during that time. What do you mean you're just like, that's really their sort of reaction. No judgment to anyone here, but all right. Someone maybe, they perceive of this reaction in this way, right? Take it as you will. Not necessarily as a literal, we are in Mercury retrograde. But maybe someone just feels like, they're like teasing me even. They're like, what about the trailer for the film? Like, maybe someone drops out of a cast here even. They're like, no, I don't want any of it. I'm sorry. So, come on, I'm hearing specifically, like, come on, like, let's jump on the trampoline together. Like, okay, like, well, you don't want to do it alone, I'll do it with you. Like, someone's like, they're making someone, like, teammates, like, crowd in and, like, try and get them to, like, promise they're not going to leave as well. And, like, this person's like, I'm not an actor, okay? I'm hearing that specifically. And I'm just not... I'm hearing, you are the apple of my eye. I'm hearing that with the Temperance card, right? Someone's like, turn that off. I'm hearing, like, somebody plays a song and like sentimental. It's like, come on, where are you going? Remember the song. They're playing the song. This person's like, listen, you're trying to plan my future for me. It's not right. I'm hearing that as well. Trying to plan also strategic playdates to make me feel like I'm still a player on the team. That's not cool. I'm hearing, seriously, don't try to get me back into the game. I'm hearing just because the protractor said that the ruler said that the geometry, the alignment, I'm hearing was right for that. I don't know what. It's like, but we got this person going, blah, 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 blah. This person's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. What? The fucking teacher also said to the student, okay? I'm hearing, if the student is sick, let him fucking go home. Okay? I don't care what math has to say on Monday, all right? I'm hearing, let him talk to me. I'm hearing the teacher also of higher learning, the degree of higher. So maybe someone even is like... feel like something's not taught right. And they want to take even like a spiritual retreat. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna just go to like Texas, Arkansas, I don't know, doesn't matter. I'll just like take out the trash every day, like, be it on a metaphorical level, some sort of space of detox, maybe for a number of you, even psychological purging, whatever it may be. And it's like, yeah, I just want to like talk to trees, take time out, work with timber, log, and maybe not. I may not do that. Like, someone's like, you really want to know, like, what I'm gonna do? This person's like, these people, they're like, are you fucking kidding me? We're gonna have a whole platinum series. I'm hearing, I'm hearing reality show, taping your retreat. Like, somebody's like, they want to create a reality TV show of someone who's like, they're really serious about taking time out. And this is like, you're like seriously so fucking selfish. Like somebody's like, they look at this person and they're like, what did leadership ever teach you? Like to just lead your own interests forward. Let's clear that, Leo. But yeah, somebody sees something very clearly. It's like a shimmer of light right here. It's like, yeah, I should have showed myself to myself a lot sooner. That would save me the home that I built. I'm hearing as well that I'm hearing also got taken in the fire. Let's clear that. Hopefully not. This could be, again, metaphorical, but let's take it as you will, Leo. I'm hearing I left everything except for my number. That's still, I'm hearing on the line. It's like kind of ironic though. It's a joke. I'm hearing that. Like somebody like tells someone like, no, I got rid of everything. I'm also done talking about it. So don't tease me. I'm hearing that as well with the Tower upright, the Strength card, Justice card, and the Son of Swords, and the Judgment card. 4 Cups in reverse, 4 Pentacles in reverse, Mother Wands in reverse. Something is kind of like even a sore story or subject. Somebody like got rid of like all the real estate. They revealed also like all of the documents of like the clergy. I don't know what that's about. They're like, yeah, here's where he commented on that. That's where he commented on that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he had a rope in his hand. Oh, for sure. He was like, you know, I don't know what, Leo, that's alluding to, but hey, let's clear that. It's just coming through. Anyways, just channeling what's coming through. May not be literal hit, right? Just channeling. But for a number of you, it's like, it may be metaphorical, but let's clear that. So somebody feels like, yeah, I felt like it was also like part of my moral duty and obligation to reveal myself. I'm hearing that specifically. Like, it's not for everyone. I'm not anyone. I'm not doing this for other people also to like see me as someone who's like real. All right. Like, no, this is like, I also don't want to let anyone know about this. I'm hearing that the Daughter of Swords are bright, Temperance are bright. So for a number of you, it's like somebody's letting go, perhaps even of a space, but it's also not to like let go of it. It's interesting. It's like, I don't want to like also like auction the stuff off. Like somebody like, they literally like, they just want to like give it away. They just want to like put it in the hall and like just let it like slide out of sight. Like, I don't know what that's linked to. But they're like, yeah, some people will say that's like so stupid, but like they want to kind of see how also like maybe certain people play along with the idea. Interesting. So, but for a number of you, this is like really like, reality has changed. Okay. Like it's changed to this person. They don't see things the way they did. They don't look at things really actually at all. So they're maybe even taking on like a hiatus from a really like, I'm hearing also like macho movement with the mother, like maybe in the past, like kind of ironic that they're like, it's all about, you know, I'm hearing the Mets versus the I don't know what, no judgment, but it's like, it's all about your stellar, you know, repertoire as well, and like all this stuff. Like maybe they actually train people, I don't know, whatever it is, and it's like, no, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it. I don't even want to comment on it. Like somebody, they literally like, they renounced even, like they took the jewels off the crown. They're like, I'm not also safe like here anymore. Like maybe someone feels like they're a target even. They're like, anyways, let's not get into that. But someone's like, listen, they look at this person in Leo. They're like, listen, you're playing a dirty game and you know that. Okay. Like, now you're gonna be, I'm hearing the devil, okay, but this time that doesn't wear Prada, so Prada's not gonna back you up either, and now you're just playing with your own 2 feet. So make sure that you know how to start running if you need to. I'm hearing that like someone tells this person, they're like, so it's like, oh, so now that I don't have the backup, let's clear that. So it may be political, but for a number of you, it has to do with someone that you know, and something that actually connects you to this person perhaps in some way. When you let go of that thing, it makes it very clear what they were actually holding on to. Leo. But hey, I'm hearing Lev. I'm hearing, hey, Lego my ego. Like, someone at the end of the day, they make light of this. They're like, you know, it's fine. Like, if that's what they were looking for, it doesn't mean that I'm not something that, right, is worth something. If that is what they valued, right, someone else's values, maybe it could be what they were taught, what it is that they were, you know, it's like, that doesn't define my value. Everything is so totally subjective. Someone could, well, let's say in this way, someone could walk into, like, an antique shop, pick up this, like, old-ass radio and say, I've found the gateway to the future. I'm hearing my future. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm hearing that as well. Like, maybe they built their whole future off of that little radio. I don't know. It's something that maybe they remastered with. I don't know. They renovated, whatever it is. Or maybe they were like, hey, I just want to roll tapes out here on this little thing, and like, whatever it is. It could be meant in a number of ways. Maybe they turned into something else, or whatever it is. And like, that's their so-called fool's gold. And then you have like someone who maybe like looks at that and was like, I wouldn't even like lift my gaze to look at it. Like, I don't know, let's clear that. But it's like, maybe someone, they just like, they left it alone. Like, they totally passed by something. And I'm sure there have been situations like that, right, where you're just like, oh my god, I ran up to this one piece and like the hallway, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, it's everything I've like hoped and wished for. And like, someone else like didn't even like, you know, they didn't even see it. So it's all perception, Scorpio. I'm here, Scorpio here, we're all right. I'm hearing that everything is gonna be alright. No one. Empress of Bright, Full of Bright. You got me feeling. No one. Ace of Cups, that right? Yeah, it's cool because look, Leo, right? Like, sometimes we need the call and response. Like, sometimes we call, we're like, I don't want to hear what the response is. I just want to call. Just give. And if they take, they take. If they don't, they don't. But, you know, at a certain point, it's like, you know what? I actually want to know, like, what do they actually do when I call out my truth this time? Wow. So it's like, you know, maybe you're transitioning from the space of like pleasing. You're like, I'm saying what everyone wants to hear, and I know that. I know they want to hear it. I know they want it. I know what they want. I know what the audience wants as well. And I'm giving it to them, and I know that. And I can keep doing that. Okay. I'm hearing for the whole greater community. I'm hearing of Nebraska, of New York, I'm hearing as well. Massachusetts, I'm hearing as well. But I'm not a real actor. I'm hearing I'm not a real life actor. Like, I could maybe, like, rip a few pairs of stockings, I'm hearing, over my eyes and say that I'm a freaking goofball and that I'm kind of, like, good at it. Okay, but that doesn't qualify me. I cannot be, I'm hearing, stupid with myself when it comes to the point of, like, being real honest. Is this really what I want? Is this really also what I want to talk about and do? So, for a number of you, it's kind of cute, right? Okay, it's controversial at the end of the day as well. Perhaps, as a number of you may feel, it can be perceived as. Doesn't mean it's actually controversial. What is controversy, right? But perceived. Okay? Like, prediction as well. Like, where something is like, whoa, that's so unexpected. I didn't expect for this to be what was presented. And it's like, you got all this, like, conflict of interest I'm here as well that may be related. And is that your responsibility? Does that mean that it's something that inherently is, like, wrong? Or, like, oh my gosh, just because controversial means that it's wrong or whatever. It's like, not necessarily. It's just bringing up for review how different people react to certain things. It can be, right? You may realize that. But for a number of you, it's not to say that it's easy to handle, right? Especially for those, you know, you might have sustained a certain, like, lifestyle from the space, and it's just like, well, I just gotta change my habits now. Like, that's not the way that I want it. Like, I'm hearing, I wanted to take away. What's that song? Chase You Down? It's like, that's not how I want to, like, also, like, spend my time. Like, you know, maybe you're spending a lot of time networking and it's just like, you're like, I'm leveling up, but it's like, you just, it's weird. It's like you're leveling up, but you're like leveling like at the same level. You're just leveling out. So it's like breadth versus like perhaps depth for whatever you feel like. I just don't feel like I'm, let's not go there, but Scorpio. I'm here, Scorpio, Sagittarius. For a number of you, maybe it's just like, well, I just feel like I need more deep and meaningful conversations. I'm hearing also with my man here, I don't know what that's only to do with the Fool upright. It's like, I can't like fake that the ring and the proposal are proposing themselves as well. Okay, to me, it's like, I'm not going to be standing at the aisle with a floating ring and a presentation of the script of what I'm hearing the storyboard kind of surprised me with. Like, this is not a movie, it's not a script, it's reality, and it's not going to be taped. I'm hearing this time. So, okay, for number 6 of Pentacles upright, 3 of Cups in reverse, Fool upright. So maybe somebody even like, they kind of like, they gave into something for a certain period of time, and then they were like, this is not reality. Okay, they were like, the way that the steam builds to the windows and makes me like cry for help and like trace with my finger, okay, like SOS, I'm hearing help, like literally doesn't make me feel like I made this myself, and also that I want to manage it, what it is that I have created. So you can be on an emotional level with yourself, even like this is you with your work, you're in a relationship with yourself and your work, and you're like, shit, I'm hearing, what have we done? We created this like monster of a masterpiece. This masterpiece also of like really, perhaps for a number of you, like big ideas that you're like, well, they have potential, but do I secretly want them to manifest? Wow. Somebody's getting very, very clear and serious with their spiritual, their project timeline. I'm hearing that way, the Ace of Cups and the Empress. For a number of you, it's like, well, somebody's like, listen, life is fucking short. And actually, what is life? So I'm there, I'm there to discover what it is that I carry forward. I'm hearing, even if it is like a weakness of mine, I'm hearing, I want to understand, I want to know, I want to deal with it right here, right now. I'm hearing it in that way with the Ace of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, and the Strength card. Like, somebody's like, I would rather be proud of my weaknesses and own up to those and have this face off, okay, with this, also this lie, then lead it out as something that is actually, you know, kind of like a love letter. You know, it's like, if I don't actually feel that way. So to say it this way, like, someone feels like, look, I realize that I also want to look at something in a through the lens of something, let's say, more energetically meaningful or spiritual. And I realize that not, you know, it's kind of like, that's classified information as well. What? With the Fool and the Empress and the Ace of Cups, Leo? It's like, yeah, it's a disaster. You don't get it. That specifically. No, you don't get it. Everybody is also like not allowed to open their letters like on time. I'm hearing you don't get it. The Empress upright, the Fool, I don't know what this is alluding to, Leo. Whenever you know, it's like classified information, and like somebody may actually open themselves up as a target, and they're like, I'm gonna be in Tallahassee next Tuesday. I'm gonna be wearing you know, some summer gear, and next week in Canada. I'm here in Kansas, okay? Summer gear in Kansas, Canada, in February, towards the March. We're in the March reading, all right. So it's like losing track of time as well. They're like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna have time on, I'm not gonna have my watch, actually. No, remember I gave away everything. So somebody's like going without a plan, and if they make me, I don't have to show up because I'm not I'm hearing the man I used to be. Whoa. So it's like somebody's even, they're actually like, they're letting go of their identity. They're going on some sort of like spiritual retreat even, and they're like, don't call me by that name. I remember that, like, someone's like, Mr. So-and-so, and this person's like, I'm not that person. They're like, but aren't you, like, this person's like confused. They're like, aren't you proud to be like Mr. So-and-so? And this person's like, not really. I'm hearing, especially if you feel, right, that it's like expected pride. How can somebody say, like, that's something you should be so proud of, right? That's according to their expectation. Somebody could look at someone and be like, oh, it's so cool to have a rich family. Someone else is like, that's not cool. That's clumsy. I'm hearing that's for a number of you. Somebody says that, not saying that that's true. Clarify that, just channeling what's going through. So maybe someone's like, the reaction is like, I feel weird, or I feel like it's actually like really a distraction, okay, to my actual, I'm hearing my actual face here that I make, like, on an emotional level. Even for a number of you, is like, you feel like the masquerade of your whole montage on film and on TV, whatever, in the public eye is like painting over, okay, your real passion that's actually really already painted on your face. Like, nothing needs to be like touched up there, you know? Your true heart to heart, also openness, is the real deal. So yeah, so anyways, Leo, it's something that you want to let go of, and you feel like it's like truly at that point where you're just like actually tired. And again, like, a lot of people may be like, I think that we need to like kind of make you see someone. I'm hearing that like certain people may like literally, and this could be also like voices in your head. You're like, they're gonna think I'm crazy. They're gonna think I'm kooky. They're gonna think I'm like complicated, or that I'm complicating everything. They're gonna tell me I'm just complicating everything, aren't they? Let them clap, okay, for who they think is actually doing it right as well. Whatever. Now, for a number of you, someone's thinking of even dropping out of something here, like, it has to do with a degree that they actually, like, they were waiting a long time for. Maybe it didn't really culminate, and then finally they were like, well, the whole time I don't feel like I'm the one in the classroom. I feel like I just have this, like, feeling of, like, my whole, like, my sister, I'm hearing my sister and her family, I don't know what that's about, like, on my back about this. Like, maybe someone feels that it's like they're carrying this like weight, and it has to do with like the way they present themselves publicly. They're like, well, I'm in medical school, grad school, and like I'm smart. Okay, so someone maybe feels like people see them as like smart, and they're like, well, this is my badge, and like I carry it around, I say I'm a medical student, and it's like, but I feel like I need medicine to take after every topic that I cover, and I feel like I'm just like, I'm not, it's toxic. Someone feels like truly like some kind of even space or like process is like, it's, let's clear that there, it's I'm hearing, I knew you were trouble, like they had this feeling like this is just not, I'm hearing raising them also to the potential. Interestingly enough, it's like, well, yeah, I'm technically good at like talking about this or like getting myself through the test, the testing room, but I'm actually really great at like also these other things. I'm hearing, I'm 30 years old now, and I don't have my thumb in my mouth yet either. What's that about? Okay, so for no reason this has to do with children. For a number of you. But for another number of you, it has to do with your own thinking process. You're like, I'm technically like an adult, but like I don't feel like I've actually had like even the ability to just kind of like let myself go and like love life. I'm hearing that as well, like to just have no concerns, like someone's like, really, they're like, this is like so freaking tragic. They're like, I'm about to graduate from college and then I'm gonna be sent to residency. And like, not to say that this is not the right thing for some people, but okay. It's like, I'm working with amphibians, reptiles, and like, they're ruining my life. I hear that's like, I feel like all of these like Plaza Dominion characters I'm hearing as well are like, they're literally creeping into like also my nightmarish hellish fantasies. I don't know what those like do of my future. They're like, somebody's having nightmares. They're like, oh god, now I'm gonna like turn into this like fat I'm hearing undergrad student, and then I'm gonna like leave school with way too much to let go of in terms of debt. I'm hearing weight. I'm not happy. I'm hearing that, take it as well. I'm not saying that that's wrong. No judgment. Not to say that maybe this is how someone feels, or like, I don't feel like I'm like, it's ironic. So it's like, look, I'm supposed to be fit and healthy, and like, I feel like I'm a frog without legs. I can't move. I feel like I just cannot even like address my own health right now. What the heck? Okay, so someone feels like there's a system that just beat them. They're like, it just wasn't for me. So maybe someone felt that way. They're like, yeah, it's just, again, it could be totally right for some people, but it just felt like it wasn't right for me. And that's the key, that it felt like it wasn't right. Not to say that it wasn't. Again, you could have done it, and maybe for a number you did. Maybe you were like, yeah, I got through it. I'm technically a doctor. Okay. So, but do I need a doctor now? Like, okay, so, and what does that mean? Does it mean that I'm like, you know, like ready for my future? What? It means that maybe I'm like ready to actually like create. I'm hearing what my future needs to be or needs to look like, so to fit me and my needs in it. Wow. So it's like, yeah, so for no reason someone was like also so concerned. They're like, well, it's about, you know, helping others and like da-da-da, and then they kind of like let go of their own needs in that space. And even if it is for like the projected reality of the space and where they thought it would lead, you know, just because you become a doctor as well, I hate to say it in this way, but you know, it's like there are so many ways to sort of lead out the space of medicine. You know, who is to say ever that a certain space is actually the right space? You got all kinds of medicine, right? You got alternative medicine, you got da-da-da, 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 TCM, you've got all different tactics, right? Even like mind work, therapy, Reiki. It's like, you know, at the end of that show, everyone's clapping. Okay, you got your degree, I'm hearing as well, but not to say again, I'm not saying that, hey, I'm not downplaying that at all, right? But that's an amazing feat, okay? And I've had dreams of also moving through that space at a certain point in time, but for a number of you, you know, it's like, and I still may, okay, hey, well, you know, just throwing that out there, no personal sort of judgment here at all, just kind of coming through. Maybe for a number of you, it's like, this is something that you've kind of felt, you've come to, or someone in your environment kind of has come to bring this to your attention, maybe I take it as you will. For a number, you're like, I feel like, you know, maybe it's something that I need to just look at as like something that I did and like not necessarily something that I want to do, and that should be okay, right? Some people, they're like, hey, I wanted to learn about medicine and I did. Do I want to do the residency thing? I think I want to jump rope right now. I hear that specifically. Someone, seriously, like, they went through some cycle and it felt like freaking, like, they felt totally disheveled at the end of that. They were like, I'm literally 200 pounds. I'm hearing that again. Like, no judgment, but maybe, well, hey, someone feels like they're not healthy, okay? And it's all it's relative. Okay, if you're like 8 feet tall, I don't know, no judgment again. I'm not saying that like someone who's like heavier set generally or whatever, or heavier than there's not necessarily as holy, I always take as you will, God forbid. But you know, it's like also a mindset is what my kind of point is here. For no reason, Leo, maybe someone feels like I just wasn't like mentally in the game, like feeling I was winning it, and you know, so what that really comes to is like, well, what are your reasons, right? What were your reasons for doing that? Did you feel like you were somehow like battling, okay, like a part of your natural sort of inclination, your natural nature, like, so was that exhausting, you know? So what are the battles that we're sort of moving through? I'm not laughing there, Leo. Okay, strength card upright, coughing. Okay, good, I got a lot of Leo in my chart, definitely feeling these energies. All right, but anyways, strength upright. Now, it doesn't have to be as well that we find people that sort of agree with us or can feel what we feel. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if even our parents, right, don't understand the grave that they think that we're digging for ourselves, okay? It's our life, right? I'm hearing it. At the end of the day, what makes us feel proud of that life that we create? At what point do we feel like I am the lion of the pride of the pack because I am the way that I prize myself? I'm hearing to lead it out. So in other words, it's like everyone has their space, their niche. Everybody has also their ability that's like all their own, you know? It may not be obvious, right? Also, especially in the earlier stages of life. For a number of you, it's like it's something that you've come to recognize even through the process of thinking or moving through a certain space of, well, maybe again, like this was right for me in a certain way, but I realized that I don't want to maybe create with that degree. I'm hearing that as well. Necessarily, no, it may not be literal. It may not, it's not for everyone. For a number of you, though, it's something that you love, actually, but you realize, well, I love this, and it's not that I don't love it. It's not that I, let's say, don't want to help people or I don't want to move into the space of medicine, but I want to do it in a different way. I'm hearing moratorium. I'm hearing that with the strength card upright, and the father one's like, somebody feels like there's just a little shift. It's like actually very simple. They're like, there's a little signal here that goes off, and you're like, you know what? Actually, I think it's like, I think I want to address the stage. Like, I want to address the stage. That's maybe, again, topic I'm interested in, but from just another standpoint. So it's like, maybe I want to talk about health. Maybe I don't necessarily want to be the doctor doing the deed, I'm hearing as well. But maybe my deed is to be done in a way that I also discover over time. So someone maybe, again, just wanted to take time out. They're like, I want to just have that time to sort of resurrect my role here from a space that is like not breeding from routine, especially generationally in the family or the plant kingdom. I don't want to be influenced by, like, I don't know, someone's like, I'm going through this study process and it's like making me feel and behave in ways that are like responsive to like these real life examples. I don't know, so-called real life. So somebody, so-called real life examples. So maybe someone feels like they're also like influenced by the subject matter to like a degree that is like, they feel like they need to send out a mailer announcement. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm hearing if we ever have to work with another mouse, make sure, okay, that I'm not coming. I'm hearing that, like, I don't know. So again, it's like somebody was like fighting something, or they were just, it was like a long, it felt like it was like a constant, like they had to wake themselves up, like they had to wake themselves up also at work. Jab, I'm hearing jab. Anyway, so they were like always playing video games as well. Like maybe they felt like it was so difficult not to get distracted. So yeah, so, okay, not to say that that's also like, oh, just because you get distracted, that's not like your purpose in life. No, and don't take it like a Leo, right? Take it as you will. Strength card upright and the Ace of Cups. Whatever you do, always remember, take it as you will, Leo. The father one's upright. So, and the Empress upright tower. So sometimes maybe for a number of you, even like you felt like, well, I'm resisting this space, and why? So maybe like there was a little bit of this question of, is it the impression that I feel I'm leaving? Is it, the hopes and the wishes of maybe my parents? I'm hearing that with the Two of Cups in reverse, in the center between the Strength card and the Temperance card. Everyone's like waiting. There are expectations, and so yet again, it's like, can I, kind of give myself the opportunity to flourish outside of that space of like what others would consider as like the fantasy, of like, also reaching financial freedom. So maybe someone feels like living my life by sort of killing, I'm hearing, my desire to live. Not a good sign. If you feel that way, Leo, right? In any capacity, not necessarily as related to medicine, it doesn't have to be related to biomechanical engineering as well. For a number of you, you're like also a master physicist, but you realize like nothing actually matters. You're like that one philosopher in the physics class. I'm hearing in like you got your degree, your doctorate even. You're like a total like, you're like the Hierophant of all hemoglobin analysis. I don't know, like you've worked with like every researcher, you've worked through every like painful part of the body as well. I don't know what that's alluding to, but you come to realize like plants of the kingdom mean nothing without also like the wisdom of why they're there to begin with. Interesting. So maybe for now you're like, well, I learned the technical, like the again, like I'm hearing the biomechanical degree, okay, in nature of like the whole world, actually. A lot of knowledge that I've sort of, you know, I've fastened under my belt, whatever. I'm hearing that specifically. So it's funny, because, like, someone actually, like, they have this whole, like, again, even future that they've carved out, but then it's like, but then they're like, but, like, why? And they actually realize that they're, like, actually really existential when it comes to these things. They're like, but why would, like, life lead people also down those roads to, like, do those things? And so, you know, it's like, there is maybe this conversation that's happening on, like, another level where somebody realizes, like, look, you know, I can water the plants, they could grow, whatever, but I'm not the person who's, like, actually really, I think, like, the property owner for that. I'm your manager. Like, it's not what my degree is for. I'm hearing it in this way, not to say that that was true or not, but for whatever reason, you're at that point where you realize, well, I want to play with different discussions, actually, and I can incorporate, right, the things that I've done, or the things that I feel have kind of, like, fueled my interest in this space. Sometimes it's like, well, I have to go through that cycle or journey of, like, wow, this really is not what I want to do. But it really is shaping very clearly for me what I do find actually of interest. Not to say again that it's not of interest, but maybe it's just the manner in which you address it. So, love and light to you, Leo. Enjoy this period. Wow. You know, it's okay also at times if you feel like you have no friends. That's all right? Because when you're going through a transformation, right, where you're, like, kind of cycling out, like, also what you felt point of connection was to certain projects, I'm hearing places in time, like, you know, those are memories, and you do hold them, right? Those are experiences, be it also projects that you've, like, studied or you've moved through, subject matters even. It's like, I used to be friends with, like, the medical industry. I'm hearing that as well, and now I realize, like, I don't want to, like, feed people that. I'm hearing that as well. So now for number 3, though, it's like you feel like actually your social circle has somehow, like, disappeared because of this decision, maybe, or you fear that. You're like, well, I risk that possibility that I would come back and, like, also no one would feed me. Leo. Tower Mirror, the Father of Wands, Tower Mirror, the Fool, but at the end of the day, I'm here, right, dancing with a stranger. I can always, you know, dance with another person, I'm hearing, at another time, and if they happen to find my truth more riveting than these I'm hearing so-called real beekeepers, I'm hearing, did, then maybe that's where I'm hearing the honey in my pot lies. All right, Leo. So for number review, it's not about a depressing downturn here. Okay, let's be clear on that. It's not. Now, maybe someone actually, like, this is what you're telling yourself. You're like, I don't want it to be something where I feel like I will move through the door and, like, I can never feel like I can move back through it. So, for no reason, maybe you actually want to open up, perhaps even just simply the opportunity to discuss a certain topic that you're interested in. It's like, I don't want to tell the teacher that, like, also maybe, like, I'm not interested in the whole table. But I just maybe want, and it could be something that you lead out. Maybe you feel like I want to stimulate conversation around the topics that really do interest me. Love and light to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, Leo. Love and light to you. Always heed your personal intuition. Always a matter of your personal perspective. Bye.